What's good, YouTube, and welcome. We are the Eternal Dawn, and it's your boy vexyz, the lurking legend. Y'all can just call me Vex. Welcome to our first stream on the new channel. We're so glad to see all of you goats in chat. We love seeing a whole bunch of the regulars pop in. Major shout out to Tainted Marth, Coffee Black, Parvision, Nax, Straw Hat Koofy, and the rest of the crew that I see here. Make sure you guys like this stream. Check out all the links in the description to support the crew. We've got a wonderful and sure to be hilarious stream planned for you all today. If you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, the layout here, and the title, we're going to be talking about the one and only true, definitive, strongest swordsman in One Piece. But before we get into that, I want to go ahead and introduce the rest of the crew that we have here. We have a very close friend of mine, an absolute goat in the community, and somebody who is a member of the Nothing Happened podcast. We have the historian of the Eternal Dawn himself. We have Kube of the Red Sea. What's good, brother?
What up, guys? Well, it's like we say, it's a new dawn, and I'm very great for this, great new stream with all of you. Yeah, let's get it.
Hell yeah. Major shout out to Smokey, who's not currently on the call with us, but he is somebody who helped set up the little eternal poses that you kind of see when we're inactive in the call. They look phenomenal, and the logo of the channel that you're on right now is we want to make sure that you guys do subscribe, as we are just starting out, and again, like these stream for us. That would mean a whole lot to us. But yeah, hopefully it looks good on stream. Let us know in the chat how you guys like it. Next up, we want to introduce the musician of the Eternal Dawn himself, an absolute legend. This guy, I'm so glad to see him cooking on more streams. We've got Joshua Vykthor. How you doing today, brother?
Yo, I'm good. I'm pretty happy to be here and on this new channel and everything.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I know this is going to be kind of like your strong suit. You're like the resident power scaler we had, and we're going to be talking about like definitively the strongest swordsman. So I'm super happy to hear some of your takes once we get into the stream proper. And of course, I'm your boy Vex. You can catch me on my channel, and I am the head cook of the Eternal Dawn. Super stoked to be here, and let me know in the chat if there's any technical difficulties that we're experienced, but I see a lot of you responding very positively. Thank you so much. We've been really trying to put a whole lot into the rebrand, so it means a lot. Thank you guys. Last but certainly not least for now, we might be joined later by some of the other crew members. We have one of my absolute best friends and one of the most positive forces in the community. We have the captain of the Eternal Dawn himself, Straw Hat Lucas. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing really good. And to everybody, welcome to the new channel. Let's address the elephant in the room real quick. Obviously, we've changed a little bit since the last time we were all on stream together, right? But that's okay. Things happen. Sometimes you have to go through a hard night to get through to that eternal dawn, right? So we're going to have a good time today. And the first thing I got to bring up is, why is Ryuma the background of this freaking stream right now?
He's the sword god. Yeah, what are you talking about? Like,
what do you mean? Okay, I guess we just forgot Chat Mepo exists. All right.
Oh my goodness. So that's a good point. So the thing is like you can spit any of your takes like while we're in this call and whatnot. But if you talk about somebody who uses a sword but isn't a swordsman, we can use that against you. We can and the thing is that like, if you're talking about somebody who's from antiquity and is hundreds of years in the past and is no longer an active figure in the story that we can't appropriately scale, then I feel like that's also something that can be used against you. I mean, feel free to spit that, but you're gonna have to back your argument up, like. But I think that Ryuma, we can't really count him in the running, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's establish what classifies as a swordsman then, right? Because like, there's people in the One Piece world who specifically use swords. If they only use swords, would you classify them as a swordsman? Like, think of the Peeply Lulu from Water 7. He is, for all intents and purposes, a shipwright, but his main weapon of choice is swords. Is he a swordsman?
I think that it really comes down to like the way that we saw in Zoro's like upbringing and his way of living is that a swordsman is defined by the code, like the way of the shinobi, or like the bushido, or like not shinobi, bushido, and like like he has like there's like a sense of honor, and like scars on a back are the mark of shame for a swordsman and stuff like that. And the fight between King and Zoro was one of the most relevant and recent discrepancies between somebody who fights just using a sword and somebody who is an actual swordsman. King has no honor, and or like when it comes to that, it's just he's gonna do what he can to defeat his opponent through underhanded tactics and surprising and whatnot. So I mean, but I don't think that just being following and adherent to a specific code of conduct and battle is enough to like put you ahead of all of the rest of the people. Like there are individuals who like someone's gonna meme and say that Luffy's the strongest swordsman because Luffy Taro held a sword in Wano, and like that's actually valid. It's just that you're gonna have to back that up, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Luffy Taro is a swordsman, by the way.
Also, shout out to Mr. Bushido in the chat. He said you called when I was talking about the way of the sword. That's hilarious. Great to see you all here. I see you as well, Will and Angel. Thank you guys all for coming through. It means, like I said, and I'm probably gonna say it a couple more times, it really does mean a lot to us. Make sure you guys are subscribed and that you like the stream. Share it to all your friends. We're sure to have some spicy takes. But who wants to present
for real?
Yeah, who wants to present their first candidate for the true, one and only, definitive, strongest swordsman?
Ooh, well, actually, I'm gonna start with a bit of a twist. Obviously, we need to go back. What is a swordsman? And for me, I think the candidate of a great swordsman, and for me personally, one of my favorite and top swordsmen is the wielder of the dice fruit, Mr. One, Das Bones, which I believe he is a perfect example of someone pre-time skip who wasn't showing the ways of the swordsman. But, now that he's back in the story, I am a big believer that he accepted that he is now a swordsman.
I mean, he is a sword man.
He's literally is a sword man, yeah. So it's actually a really solid argument right out of the gate. Hilarious. I knew this was gonna happen too when we put this stream together. I'm glad it was Kube that did it, but yeah, I mean, would we put him above as Hawk though? I mean, that little kid can scrap. Oof. We don't have many feats from him, but seeing him just eat cleave egghead like he did with the same fruit, like I don't know, we haven't seen anything from him really post time skip, but super hyped to see. Like as far as Das Bones, we haven't seen anything from him post time skip, but I'm super hyped to see once we get to cross guild and stuff like that what he can do. Like can you imagine an awakening of said fruit, which would be crazy.
And people forget that he was a menace in Alabasta, and it does seem with Crocodile that there's this real fulfillment of his will, that it might not be the same Crocodile that Luffy faced in Alabasta. What about Mr. One as well?
Mr. Bushido, I don't know who you're talking about actually. Like, I'm sorry, he just brought someone up in chat and I'm so confused. Feel free to elaborate. But no, I think that this is a hilarious pick, and I think that with Das Bones specifically, I knew it was gonna happen, just like the Luffy Taro thing, which we'll probably unpack in a bit. And I think it's really interesting because he is literally a man of swords, like, you know what I mean? So I can't discredit you. And he did give Zoro a run from his money, and like it was a really solid fight. I think post time skip, if we were to give him 2 years to like legitimately train, people are scaling Crocodile pretty high right now. I think that he has an equivalent trajectory, moving into post time skip territory. So I hope that will be something that we see more of.
In chat, I don't know who is Mahawk. We have no idea who that is. Just gonna put that out there.
You mean S-Hawk?
But no, with Mr. One, that's
he's
something.
Just a kid.
Before yeah, S-Hawk is just a kid. Maybe Baby 5. Yeah, Crow. Maybe it is Baby 5. But no, with Mr. One, I definitely just want to see some more time skip feats from him, right? Because he's been out of Impel Down now for 2 years with Crocodile. And as we've seen, Crocodile has had to have done some kind of training. My man was taking out government warships like it was nothing when he pulled up on Buggy. So I would assume that his number one, the man that he sees as his right-hand man, is also at a similar power level.
Would you scale him above Zoro, though? Obviously, somebody we're going to be talking about.
No,
in this
I don't think so. It depends on how much that progression. Like I said, it's so hard because all we can do right now is speculate, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that Mr. One did change and he now has full armament hockey and he understands Conqueror's hockey, even if he doesn't have it per se.
Oh.
That's something that Zoro does have against him. Zoro has Conqueror's hockey.
Could he turn himself into a permanent Black Blade?
Ooh.
Oh my god!
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
I mean, there's only one thing that Oda needs to do. If Mr. One defeats Rob Lucci very fast, we know the level of Mr. One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he gets a good showing in the final war, like when we inevitably get all of the Yonko crew and a Grand Fleet, like all coming together in one epic battle. I really hope that we do get like a lot of people are like, scaling still off of like a lot of stuff that happened in Marineford, which is such a hectic jumble of so many prolific and powerful figures that like I think that it's going to be like that. Like literally, like Oda said at Jump Fest, it's going to make that look like the kiddie pool, like we're going in the deep end eventually. Yeah. And I hope that DOSBones can hold his own.
Too. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
With Mr. One as well, think of how Oda writes the story too. How serendipitous it would be if Zoro's first major opponent in the Grand Line is DOSBones. Like, that's the person who taught him how to basically use the breath of all things, or whatever you want to call it, that frequency that Zoro picked up on there to cut steel. So how serendipitous would it be if at the start of the final war, Zoro's first opponent was this DOSBones, right? And it also helped Zoro unlock that last level of hockey he would need to be right beside Luffy during this whole final bout. You know what I mean? I feel like that is something I could see Oda doing. So it definitely keeps, in my mind at least, it's keeping DOSBones in this conversation for, if not number one swordsman, a strong contender for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be hilarious if DOSBones was Zoro's like actual like penultimate fight, or like ultimate fight. Like that's his end of story. Like he's got to overcome it again, but it's like a Black Blade versus a Black Blade. I think that it'd be really cool, like you're saying.
Become his penultimate weapon.
You're a sword now. It's no sup.
Like the Usopp sword. It's foreshadowing. Oh, my bad. Sojikin's sword. Very different person. Yeah.
Yeah. No storm. Yeah. No. Very completely different. Apples and oranges.
Yeah. No storm.
But I think we've talked that.
The bone blade.
Like, Josh, did you have anything you wanted to add about DOSBones, as he is a literal man of swords in the swordsman conversation?
But even though he is a man that turns his body into swords, he doesn't fight like he wields a sword like a brawler. Like, he doesn't really cut.
Yeah. I mean, he might not necessarily, like, as a swordsman, perfectly scale, but he is a man of swords, so I feel like that like puts him in the conversation, like
yeah, I got it.
But moving on, Josh, did you have somebody who you wanted to throw in the ring and see how they do?
Yeah, why not? I'm gonna bring up Bogard. Garp's right hand man.
Yes,
sir. Yeah. Oh, it's getting spicy. It's getting real spicy with this one. Like, shout out to Dagsake, huge friend of the channel. We absolutely love him. He's a goat. He shouted us out, and a lot of you might be here because of his live stream. And I did want to make sure that we gave him the recognition, and that we really do appreciate that and the time that he has dedicated to helping us in the rebrand and stuff like that, and promoting for us. We love Dagsake. One thing that you should know, you probably all know about Daksake if you're fans of his.
He's a huge fan of Bogart.
Oh, he loves Bogart. That's like probably puts him in top of the verse. And I saw Parvision in here earlier as well. Again, huge Bogart fans. So we are sure to spit on this one for a while. To represent, you know, the friends of the brand and whatnot. So here at the Eternal Dawn, I think I personally am taking a very pro guard stance, you know, pro Bogard. So I think this is a great conversation.
So am I. I mean,
go ahead.
He was brought up in the server, which if you want to join the Eternal Dawn server, down in the links in the description. But he was brought up in the server before the stream even started because obviously he's on the thumbnail. So people were talking. And someone was like, he wasn't even an egghead. And I shit you not, I think it was Josh. Just immediately it was like, yes, he was. And so it was a panel of Bogart and egghead, which brings credence to me thinking that last image we saw where it was like, let's go and claim it. And it showed everybody who's going for the One Piece right now, that mysterious swordsman. That's just Bogart, who's been waiting to make his move for 20 years now. Okay? He's going to show up. He's going to show out. Look at, you do not get to be Garp's silent partner, Garp's right-hand man, without being able to show out. My man survived God Valley. He survived Hachinosu when they went there to get Kube. Like, he's a legend. A legend.
And also, we saw in the anime that Garp at the beginning, Garp didn't train Kobe Helmepo, Bogart did. Like, he has the same, it should be the same merit of training them as Garp.
I completely agree. Like battleship bags and all that, like, is great, and like we see Kobe like doing what, but like I think that like there's no way that in 2 years, like even if he were to have like Kaku levels of like proficiency buffs, you know, like within like the plot, that Bogard, or I'm sorry, that Kobe would be over Bogard, somebody who was clearly his superior in training him. So like, as far as you want to scale end of story Kobe and Garp in his prime, Bogard I think is somewhere in the middle of all of that, and Bogard being somebody who looks to be in his prime might scale over current Garp, which you know, Garp, we've never seen him wield a sword, but if he even picked up a butter knife, I'd have him in this conversation instantly. But like, you know, like it's Bogard, we have seen in the cover story, in the Kobe Meppo cover story, in the blink of an eye before, you know, two individuals who were learning shave, mind you, ridiculous reaction time, you know, through like their training and stuff like that. They couldn't even react, and Bogard had already cut a rifle into like 20 perfectly incremented pieces. Like I sat there and counted. Like, this dude's got some quickness, some swiftness. And like, you know, he's clearly like Lucas has said, like, if you're going to be in the same ring as Garp, you have to be able to like throw down.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but like Oda approved, let's look at the live action, right? Because that is the strongest showing of Bogard that we've had out of any of the adaptations or anything, right? Oda had his hands throughout the entire one action. If they wanted live action, so if they wanted to change anything, if they wanted to make a character more prevalent, they had to ask him. They had to go through him. And with Bogard being there in every scene with Garp turning to him and asking him for advice, like, you know what I mean? Like, is it about Baroque works? Is it about this? Is it that is like it just strengthens that argument I started out with, right? This is Garp's closest man. This is his confidant. This is his Zoro. Like, my man is impressive. And I think that when we see God Valley, anyone who does not see the vision that is Bogard, the bog vision, as I call it, anyone who does not see that, anyone who does not see that, I think will be shut up so quickly. Because I think when we get that God Valley flashback, we're going to see Bogard just showing out, man.
You really have to like take into account. Oh, go ahead, Kube. Sorry.
I'm going to just say one thing. Garp's rival is Roger. We know what Roger did. And Roger's right-hand man is Rayleigh. Enough said. Bogard is definitely top-tier swordsman.
Oh yeah, dude. If he's fighting Rayleigh, like, let's go.
Bushido literally just put it in chat, you know, something extremely similar, and that's hilarious, and I love that. Y'all are like mind roping there, but like we also have to like think, if you like look at Kube and how Kube scaled in 2 years. And yes, he was stated to be giving like 200%. And, you know, that's his like, you know, beloved pupil and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So let's be generous and say then it's like 5 years worth of development crammed into Kobe's 2 years. Cool. That's wonderful. We love to see that. Bogard was in chapter 0, which we like it, like when they were talking about like what, like the Battle of Ed War and stuff like that. We're talking about 27 years in the past. And Bogard's been Garp's right hand literally the whole time. 27 years worth of training with Garp. There's no comparison like to like who else in the world has gotten that, like Kuzan, like admiral level individuals have gotten like that. Not even like I don't even think Kuzan had that much time to train with Garp. Like Bogard is clearly top of the verse, and if you don't see that, you will.
Yeah, exactly. And let's bring up a fact that I'm surprised no one has brought up yet. No one has brought up yet. Kaido has only lost 7 times. One of them was to Bogard in his prime. Like in Kaido's prime. Bogard took down, that's canon, answered in the SBS. Bogard took down Kaido. Like, let's go.
Wow.
And also think about this, while Garp is past his prime and things like that, Bogard is still in prime age.
Hell yeah. Completely agree. Like, it's insane to think, and like even like contenders like somebody who I'm gonna be bringing up very shortly, you know, because I can't help myself, but the man himself, the Dark King Silvers Rayleigh, who is just able to like scare off a Yonko just by just simply existing, not in his prime. And I'm like, you know, we see somebody like Bogard, who's a figure who's been in action and exposed to action for 27 plus years and seems to be in his prime. There's no context.
So I have to clarify something. So it was not confirmed he defeated Kaido, but it's been heavily implied that he's one of the 7 that defeated Kaido. So I got it. But nonetheless, my man defeated Kaido.
Dude, not even that. Think about this, right? He had his run-in with Rayleigh in God Valley, right? But 13 years later on, Marco was stopped by Rayleigh by just a finger.
Yeah.
And we know Marco's level.
Is it? Someone in chat said Bogard was the man who arrested Buggy. Is that true?
I don't know if we have that confirmed, but if so, stocks are even higher. Stocks are even higher, baby. Yeah. Like, because that's a Yonko. Yeah. Like, that guy got a bounty.
Like, I legitimately, like, I know everyone's on that whole Shanks has an evil twin or whatever theory, but like, I legitimately think that's Bogard. In that panel, it is Bogard. The nose matches up. The way he frowns matches up. The sword is the only thing that doesn't match up. Yeah, that's and Oda is known to have changed. Yeah, Oda has been known to change some swords every now and then. Look how many times Griffith changed. Like,
so you're saying Griffith? That he's like an older brother?
I did say Griffith instead of Griffin. Shush.
Oh, no.
So what, like an older brother?
Oh, like an older brother? Yeah, sure. Okay.
Because
oh my God, Bill Smith the third in Garp and Rogers.
No, I'm just saying that because in God Valley he was at least 20 years old. That's why. That's why I'm saying it. Like he must be very much more older because he was in the God Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because.
Oh my goodness.
At first it got me scared. I thought you were saying a twin. I was gonna say that's a crazy twin to be 20
but we
years
have
old
to like
and the twin is a baby.
To really like actually like legitimately approach this conversation from a fair angle, from a completely unbiased angle, there are a few individuals that Oda has been building up and holding back from showing us. We purposefully don't have, there's ambiguity surrounding Dragon's abilities because he's an endgame figure. There's ambiguity surrounding like, you know, how much development we've gotten from Crocodile, because obviously this individual and the rest of Cross Guild is going to be important in the final war, and like there's so much more that Oda still has to show us. We only just saw the capabilities of the Gorosei, and even then I think that's only really like a glimmer. You know, and like then there's Emu and stuff like that. Like when you think about the people who have been around since very, very, very early chapters, within the first 100 chapters, like when was the Kube Meppo cover story, this character's been around and prevalent for over 27 plus years within the story itself, and almost 25 years for us IRL, and we haven't gotten to see how deep his bag is. And why is that? Is because Oda is cooking. Y'all gotta wait. Y'all gotta understand. Like, of course, there's very few feats that are tangible for us to truly like feat scale this individual. But when you think about the framing and the contextualization of this character in the story by Oda, it's unparalleled almost. Like, I can't wait until we get this reveal.
Yeah, and 3 Day said it best in the chat. He was only as present in the live action as he was because he's so important to the story. We just haven't seen it yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, y'all just wait. I think this is an excellent answer. I put it over Das Bones, that's for sure. So this, I think, kind of like escalates in the discussion. I
just wanted to recheck. It feels more like it's Momonga, because Momonga is the one who says he sees the buggy flag. By Sam Momonga.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to be sure.
That.
But it can still be
arrested buggy.
Yeah, it feels like it. Sorry, I just checked it out.
No, you're all good.
Hell yeah. No, yeah.
That brings us to the captain, Lucas. Who would you like? Whose hat are you throwing in the ring as far as the strongest man of swords or swordsman, or like within the verse of One Piece?
Before we get to the big choices, because I know we're gonna get to the big choices, I'm gonna throw out there Trafalgar Law.
Excellent pick. Oh man.
Hear me out. Hear me out. My man stood toe-to-toe to Big Mom and got her with his sword several times. I know the sword is not his primary means of attack, but when it comes down to it, it really is. Like, what is that? The hot knife or gamma knife he uses? Is that what it's called?
Yes,
His
gamma
attack.
knife.
Trafalgar Law is not my favorite character, so I do not know. Like, I know a lot about Law, but I'm not like the trivia guy for Law. You know what I mean? I know that's disheartening to you.
I'm right here, bro.
Like, yeah.
Don't worry. I'll back you up. I'll support you. Bounce it off of me. I'll fact check. You know,
yeah, I just think with if he utilized his swordplay with his devil fruit, like using room and shambles a little bit more, I really do think that Law could go toe to toe with Zoro, and it would. I don't necessarily want to say Law would beat Zoro, but like, I think it would give him a run for his money for a while. Like, Zoro would have to pull out some hardcore shit to beat him.
Yeah, I completely agree that he, power-wise, as a person who uses a sword, is absolutely like in like the top tier of combatants. And to address what Mr. Bushido had said in the chat, that he uses a sword but he's not a swordsman, what we've seen about his awakening and K-Room specifically is that he is able to implement his devil fruit usage into his sword, his weapon, which is a Meito grade. Kikoku is a unique and named grade sword, which he is now utilizing even in the intricacies. It's literally, look it up.
No, it's not. Yeah, you look up. Your sword doesn't have a rank. It's just a curse blade.
No, it is literally, look up Meito. It is ranked.
Wait, I had the wiki in front of me. I'll clarify it.
But
it is a cursed sword, though it is not a ranked blade.
Told you.
It's on the list of Meito. Like, it's regardless.
Look at the wiki right now.
Yeah, wait, I'm on the wiki right now.
I'm looking up. I'll look it up. Yeah.
Regardless, he is implementing his sword into his primary and predominant, and like the full awakening of his devil fruit. What, like, over half of what we saw was him utilizing his sword as his main function of battle. So he's leaning more towards a swordsman now than he ever was back when we saw him in Punk Hazard, which he still utilized his sword then to cut like the entire island in half, like, basically.
So the Kikoku is a sort of lost sword. It's a cursed sword, but though it's not a ranked blade.
It's not on the Meito blade.
When he permanently black blades it, it will get a rank. So there's that, which is gonna happen.
So I'm gonna put a wrench in all of this, even though just to play devil's advocate. What if I told you that? What if Law is not a swordsman but a surgeon?
Yeah,
you could be both.
Yeah.
He's got a sword, but he's not a swordsman. He's got sword. Sorry.
But no, I'll say
You
this.
gave me both.
Yeah, I'll say this in terms of swordsmanship. I do believe that when we got the explanation of Shanks and Mihawk and the difference, and it said Mihawk surpasses Shanks in swordsmanship and skills. I think that's like the category where Law might be better with. We can compare a bit superior to Zoro in terms of like what he could do in his skills with his sword because of his power.
Mm-hmm.
So I to give him the props to that, because I do believe that, because not saying his fruit is a cheat code, but the using of his fruit plus his sword enables him to do things that maybe Zoro will have to use a certain amount of hockey to do.
Yeah.
It's a scalpel, not a sword. Says Nash.
I know, I just saw it.
That's hilarious. I think that the thing is that it took like we've seen from like Kozaburo and like a few other individuals in Zoro through his development that like you're the true mark of like a great blade and a great swordsman is you're able to like not just what you're able to cut like through steel and things like that, but what you're able to not cut. And I don't think that anybody in the entire series has displayed to the same level of control that what Law is capable of with his devil fruit in conjunction with his sword. Like he is able to like almost molecularly dismantle individuals and choose whether it hurts or not. Like it's actually like a crazy like amount of feats that he has using his devil fruit in conjunction with his sword. Plus he has ridiculous hockey proficiency from what we've seen like in negating like devil fruit usage from .Q and stuff like that. Like this, it's only a matter of time. I think he's already approaching top verse in just devil fruit usage, like not at, but approaching. But when you combine his devil fruit usage and hockey usage alongside that, one of the most menacing threats that we have seen in the entire story. Like let this man cook.
Oh yeah, that's why I brought him up, is because like I said, I think, do I know if he would definitively beat Zoro or not? I can't say, but if I. And I don't even know why I'm matching him up with Zoro. It's probably because in my mind, Zoro is at like the peak, but we'll get to that later.
Let's say that we took all the One Piece powers, all the hockey and the devil fruit powers, just pure technique. Zoro beats Law. It's not an argument.
Yeah, but that's not the full conversation.
No, but I'm saying,
that's
though,
just a fraction of it.
Yeah, that's not even. Yeah, that's just a fraction of it. But I do think that Zoro would. Because we don't know if Zoro knows that ability. Law only knows that ability because he's learned it, right? That hockey can overpower devil fruit. It is not an innate thing that people know, at least from what we've seen. Which also I do have to shout out real quick. In the latest episode, we did see that Garp knows how to break devil fruits with hockey. He went right through Kuzan. But anyway, I do think that Law would give Zoro a good fight. Like I think it would be a fight that lasts a while. Maybe even like, I don't know if it would go to the lengths of like a Katakuri versus Luffy or a Zoro or Jinbei versus Ace style fight, but I do think that it would be a long and arduous battle for Zoro.
I actually don't. Like I respect
Really?
Zoro and I scale him really high, but like we've seen that with Law's ability, as he uses K-Room and his awakened state, he's able to puncture even Big Mom and deal internal damage. Like Zoro is a tank, and Zoro can absolutely sustain a lot of damage, but I really don't know if I'm putting him on the same level as Big Mom when it comes to like the amount of internal damage he's able, and his hockey coding and things. I don't think I put him on the same scale as a literal Yonko, one of the most absolutely insane forces of nature we've ever seen in the entire story, one of the single best hockey users that we actually have feats from, like in the current era. Like Big Mom is up there. I'm not saying she's top. I'm saying she's very, very up there, and I don't think Zoro's on that level.
And I'm gonna bring up, because Nak is saying some good points. How do you compete with teleportation internal damage from long distance? And don't forget, many times we've seen it when Zoro has an issue with a certain opponent. The opponent uses speed. Like that's what King did. That's what Rob Lucci did. They use speed to. So there is this thing of Law is basically the worst opponent for Zoro.
Yeah, and also Zoro's strongest form and strongest technique using Kakurosaki is on a timer. Like,
yeah, I think that
Zoro will just fall.
just based off the amount of damage that Zoro would sustain going up against Law, and the like, yes, he absolutely is a crazy cracked hockey user. I just don't put him on Big Mom level. He is going to be taking a significant amount of damage right out of the gate ridiculously fast. And what Zoro's number one weakness is that he gets lost. Law can literally just like tact and shambles him around the battlefield, and like, you know what I mean? Like it's actually the worst matchup for Zoro, in my opinion. Be completely honest. Like,
Jack said earlier in the chat too that he thinks that Zoro is obviously a better swordsman, but Law is just better at the 1v1, and I actually do kind of agree with that. Law's a tactician over everything. Like, he is intelligent to boot, because even before his devil fruit, he at a young age understood the human body enough that he could have performed surgery on someone. You know what I mean? Like, he is a very intelligent individual, so I think that would give him an advantage over Zoro.
yeah, I think that based off of feats and like end of story relevance, like feats alone, I think that I absolutely put Law above Das Bones and even Bogard, because we don't have much to go off of there. I think that Bogard probably has a higher ceiling, but like as it currently stands, but Law still not in his he's like a 26-year-old like kid. Bogard was like already a vice admiral 27 years ago before Law was even born. So but I still think that, you know, there is a good argument that I probably put Law even over Bogard after we gassed him up to the level that we did.
Yeah, but
I don't know, man. Bogard's Bogard.
yeah, you scaled that low because of his swordsmanship or because of the fruit?
It's a combination of his swordsmanship, his devil fruit, and his hockey usage. It's not just his devil fruit. There's so many factors to get in
now
to play here.
If Zoro could manage to outwill Law's devil fruit with his hockey, that could bring up a very interesting conversation. We do not have that feat from Zoro yet, though. Yet. I say yet because I do think we will see it before end of series.
At best, I would say that if Zoro like takes the W, is he's playing on the fact that he has very strong stamina, and we know that Ope Ope no Mi, based off the Flamingo, consumes a lot of stamina. But like in the long run, if they do a 10-day fight, you know, that's the only way right now I can see, you know, Zoro taking on Law, because the abilities are just impossible. You know what I mean? They're just, it's his counter in a way.
Oh my goodness, I'm just laughing at I'm laughing at Dex. Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Dax, shout out to Desness, shout out to Tainted Marth. Like, those are our homies right there. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We really appreciate everybody being here for the inaugural stream. It means a lot.
Yeah, we're getting a whole lot of love, and we really, really, really do appreciate it. I hope you guys don't get tired of us saying that, because we're sure to say it like a dozen more times. But does anyone else have anything else that they want to say about Law?
I would give everybody in chat $5 if I could, but I can't. No, I think I've stressed the points that I really needed to on him, so I'm good on it. How's everyone else feeling though? Josh,
I think.
What?
You got anything else to say about Law, brother?
Not really. I said everything I wanted.
I could literally spit for 3 hours straight about Law as a character, and where I think he scales in the verse. But we're gonna get past, you know, some of my biases, and we're gonna move on to my pick here. And I tried to remove all of my preferences from the equation and just pull this straight from the sheer skill and capabilities that we have seen. And there are a couple people that I was really mulling over and considering, but for my first pick, there was really only one choice, and I'm glad none of you touched it to this point. But the clear and obvious answer, and there's really not going to be much of a discussion about it, it's indisputable, is that Helmeppo is the number one swordsman in the verse.
Yes.
It's just facts. Like, there's not really much else to say about it. He was giving Zoro a run for his money, and Zoro's been training his entire life, and Helmeppo literally picked it up maybe like 6 months by the time we get to post Eni's lobby. And he's got 2 supreme grade blades in the Kukri swords. Yep, that's a fact. You can double check that all you want. He's been training with Bogard, who again we've scaled ridiculously high. And I think that obviously what we need to take into account here is that if Kube is Garp in the equation, that Helmeppo is equivalent to Bogard. And I think that the reason why he wasn't over there giving his 200% and battleship bagging it like Kube was because he's already past that. He's cruising. This man is absolutely a force to be reckoned with. They gave him such a wonderful showing in the live action for a reason. This man is completely end of story. He's gonna be a hockey master. He's gonna be on Roger level, if not higher. Easy.
Listen, I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Because I think Helmeppo will be Zoro's final opponent in the final war.
Who else could it be?
Especially now that Kube has declared that he's going to stop Luffy. Who else could it be? Exactly. And then what was the line they added for Helmeppo when he said his dream to Garp in the live action as well, since we brought up the spectacular performance of Aiden Scott as Helmeppo? He said, I want to show Roanoa Zoro that he's not the only one that can use swords. So he has that grudge against Zoro, and I think they're building that up for a reason. Like it is so clear to me from a storytelling standpoint and from how I am comprehending the story that Helmeppo will be Zoro's endgame opponent. Everyone thinks that it will be Mihawk. I think, or my bad, that one guy that I think he has like a kid or something named S-Hawk. Who? Yeah, exactly. Everyone in chat keeps bringing him up as well. I don't know who Dracula the Hawk is, but
did you just like sneeze? Was that you had an aneurysm? Yeah. What was that?
I had a stroke and said Dracula
Why would Zoro fight S-Hawk? That's like such a lame matchup. Yeah. I don't think that's fair. But like,
I don't either.
I'm gonna jump in to somewhat counter what Lucas said and change it a bit. You know how basically most likely we can see a Kube and Luffy team up like Garp and Roger. I believe instead he will be the best partner in a battle that Zoro will ever have, and it is Helmeppo. On how they met, he was a guy who got him in prison, and he would actually be his partner. Like while he does his thing, Helmeppo will be the one, doing what he needs to do. So I agree with you in a way, but I just am not an opponent.
You guys are thinking small time. Like his real end of story significance, like it's not even fair. Like putting him in the same ring as Zoro, it's no contest there. His true end of story significance is he will be the one who slices the red line in half.
Yo.
Oh my god.
Like, and we get to finally meet with Laboon again. The All Blue is formed. All of the Straw Hat streams become possible through Helmeppo. It's just a fact. I don't think anyone would dispute that. Like Kube, I saw you mute up when we first started talking about that because like there's really nothing to say. It's just true. I think we've got like the solid
Where's
answer.
The evidence? Wait, hold on. Just to play devil, where's your evidence for this? Like, there's a lot of thematic evidence for me saying that Helmeppo is a good candidate for Zoro's final combatant in the story, or even like his second to last combatant. But I gotta know, where's your evidence that he will cut the grand line, or where are you getting that from? Basically, I have
so
to know.
Many people. Okay, Oda is a man of literary devices and patterns and themes, and so many people are like, well, the first villain that was faced in the entire story was Alvida, and like, yes, technically by Luffy himself before a crew was founded, but the first technical villain that the Straw Hats, even though it was only 2 at the time, a crew was being formed. Well, 2.5, because Nami was 1 foot in. The first technical villain that these Straw Hats themselves had faced was not Axiad Morgans. It was Helmeppo. And if you take the inversion of this is the final hero of the story, not the first villain. You see what I'm saying? So like the proof is in the pudding. It's right there. I mean, it's just plain and simple. Like if you guys don't...
that is actually pretty solid reasoning. Like, I won't lie, that is solid thematic reasoning right there.
I wouldn't base this off of nothing. Like I absolutely would not base this off of headcanon or preferences. Like I really went out of my way to just find like a legitimate, completely reasonable and supported answer to bring to our first stream here. And I think that I really knocked it out of the park, honestly. You guys let me know in chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it now. The only thing that Vex doesn't like about the writing of Almepo is that he was in the Trailer Park.
Yeah,
That's
I think that's facts.
Yeah, if he was at the Trailer Park, Almepo would be #1 everywhere.
Dastards, and I've heard worse theories, unfortunately.
Listen, yeah, I know. We've all heard Kaido for the combo dastard, okay?
Okay, okay,
I think
calm down.
The biggest evidence for Helmeppo splitting the Grand Line is the fact that we saw the splitting of his Great Line in the live action.
Yo, if you guys are new here, I will not apologize, but we're about cheek friction and peak fiction here, and yeah, Helmeppo's top 1.
Yes, sir.
I'm so sorry, Kube, because this is such a tough act to follow. But this brings us to you again. If you had another candidate you wanted to throw in the ring to just be surreptitiously eclipsed by the absolute GOAT, Helmeppo.
Of course. So obviously, after Mr. One, the wielder of the dice fruit, I'm gonna bring up another one. Someone who has, who basically one of the smartest men have called him a being one of the strongest being in this world, who has fought against Yonko, who has gone after former Shishibukai. I'm talking about the other wielder of the dice fruit, and that is S-Hawk. Dude, I got so scared when you talked about S-Hawk before. He's my second candidate.
Oh man, yeah. So
because he is a swordman.
I think
Sorry, I had to.
This is you're coming out with like the craziest answers, Cube, but I respect you for it. I really do. So
and just to finish my point, just a reminder. Remember how Blackbeard, the way he felt the threat of S-Hawk and had to do what he did to get rid of them. Like he immediately realized, yeah, no, I can't kid around with them. And Blackbeard likes to eat with his food. Likes to play with his food.
Yeah, I get you. Like, and he has Lunarian genetics and a crazy good devil fruit for sword users specifically. And a lot of people are wondering what's going on with his eyes and why they're like similar to emus. I don't think we've seen that from anyone else in the entire story canonically, as far as I can recall. So, like, the thing is oh, okay, so only true goats, you know. But like I think that it's really interesting that like they have said that the SSG are like the ultimate fighting force on the seas now, and like I know a lot of people want to like, you know, say that Vegapunk doesn't know what he's talking about and stuff. Like I think that there's a really good conversation that could be had here, but like the rest of the Seraphim, we know what their power comes from. We have you know, Boa and S Snake, and then S Shark is from Jinbei, but like what do we know from this S Hawk guy? He's just kind of introduced so late into the game, and we have nothing to support like it other than the devil fruit and the Lunarian genes and stuff like that. Like I don't know, you know,
where did he come from?
I don't know if I put him above DOS Bones post time skip, but this is a very interesting conversation. What do you guys think?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna break.
Yeah, pretty much S-Hawk was set to be designed to be the peak life form, like the pinnacle of evolution. And he's still a kid after all.
Yeah, like he's taught. It's true.
Yeah, no one knows how high he will scale up by the end of the story. When he
The biggest thing about power scaling the Seraphim, really, in general, right? Like, even bringing them into discussion, is that while we do know, like Vex said, we know the origins of all the Seraphim except for S-Hawk. We have no idea, like, if he came from some kind of mid-life form or anything. But Jesus, I forgot my point because of the joke. But anyway, the hardest part about power scaling them or like bringing them into a conversation like this is the fact that at any point someone can get that command chip and go stop, and it will.
Or like a bubble, you know, like that's also
or
like
a bubble. A bubble can stop them as well.
Which, I mean, I guess is the same argument that we can pose to Dawes Bones and even Law to a degree if Law's hockey is not going to be enough to pull him through. But we've seen no hockey feats from Dawes Bones and no hockey feats from S Hawk. Crazy, because like the name is like almost like hockey, you know, but like so I mean, like literally just a bubble, you know, takes you out of the fight. So I think that like, yes, there's a bit of an argument for both of these characters, as they are both, well, one's a man made of sword and one is a boy made of sword, and he also wields just a really weird looking sword. Like, I don't know where that came from. Like, I wonder if we're ever gonna get like a name for it or something like that, or like why it is the way that it is. It's like we've never seen any sword like that in the story. It's pretty crazy.
I think its name is like Turu, but that implies that it's the second of something, so I don't know.
Crazy. Yeah, we might not never know.
If we pass cut towards Dawes Bones, we know that at least S Hawk feats, Blackbeard had to use a black armament. Dawes Bones, we haven't seen anyone, you know, actually use armament, you know, to counter him. So I could give him, if you were to rank him over him.
I know this would be immediately like null because of like the context of it, but I keep thinking that there was a movie where we saw Dawes Bones use hockey with his devil fruit.
Not that I know.
Like just armament, like base armament. Not like I can't. I don't know why I keep thinking that there's like a shot in my head where he like pulls out his blades and they're all blackened and whatnot.
It could have been after him fell down. He didn't take a shower yet. He was, you know, still greasy from all the heat.
Okay. But like I think like so we've seen that with Snake, that there is like a will of their own, and it's been a constant theme throughout Egghead, is that you can't really overwrite like their instincts and whatnot. So I don't know, depending on whoever he came from, there is a chance that maybe I think that there's probably actually a greater chance because of the Lunarian genetics as well, that this person could turn themselves into a black blade. But like, again, I don't quite know if that, like, because you could literally just get like someone just uses like bubble beam and boom, you're toast, you know. So a very good entrant, but I don't put them above, honestly, I don't put them above Law or Bogard, you know, in the conversation, but it's interesting to think about.
They did send Blackbeard into like, I need to get away mode.
Yeah.
JJ,
true.
since JJ, I gotta shout you out for one, and also my next pick is the General Frankie. Like,
we'll get there. Stick around for more on the General Frankie, but does anyone else have anything they want to say about this mysterious S-Hawk, unlike any other character we've seen in the story except for Dawes Bones, because they share the same devil fruit? Clearly.
Never seen anything like him. Yeah. Never seen anything like S-Hawk.
It's a pretty obscure pick. Yeah, honestly. Of all of the Seraphim, the one that shrouded the most in mystery. Absolutely. I think that brings us to Josh's next pick.
Yeah, my next pick, we already talked about a powerful character that uses a sword but isn't really a swordsman. So I'm gonna pick the other character that is really powerful but uses a sword with Big Mom.
Oh man, yeah, that's crazy.
That was my third pick, Josh. That was the third one I was going with.
Well,
I'm here for it. Yes.
State your case. Yeah, tell us what you like about Big Mom as top swordsman in the verse. I'm on the edge of my seat about this. I love it. Let's go.
Yeah, so she uses a sword. She's a Yanko.
That's enough. That is a great showing there. The most interesting thing about Napoleon as well is that Napoleon is just a hat. It's not technically a sword, but he can like grow any kind of sword. Like we've seen like a saber and a cutlass in only one or two other forms. Like Griffin is, I believe, a saber, while Ace is a cutlass. We haven't really seen any other good examples of prolific swords in those like styles, except through Napoleon in Big Mom's usage, and her able to pull off the Hakuku sovereignty like is insane. Solo, it took Dory and Brogy to pull off like a feat that Big Mom was able to do single-handedly by herself.
And then she did it with Kaido.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna bring up another point. Obviously, it's a filler character, but you know we have to go with it. in that filler arc in Baratie when Zoro met that random swordsman Mihawk, and the moment that he sensed the intent of Zoro, the moment he felt the intent of Zoro, yeah, he recognizes his skills to a point to take the challenge, right? Well, in Wano, when Zoro was about to hit Kaido, Big Mom got scared, instantly realized what was going to happen.
I mean,
Kaido even didn't realize that the attack was coming to him. So that, I think, shows that.
Yeah, Big Mom told him to dodge.
I remember the roof piece stuff, but whatever else you were just talking about, that's like headcanon or like fan fiction or something, right?
The wrong anime.
Yeah.
No, it's a filler. It's an old filler. It's an old filler.
No, I remember.
Cube's reading Two Piece.
I remember now.
Yeah.
It's a filler from Fairy Tail.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that wasn't Shakes, that was Gildarts.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
But to get back on like to Big Mom's discussion, like I think that like I said before, an absolute force of nature, one of the single greatest, not the single greatest, especially in recent chapters, but one of the single greatest hockey users that we might have ever seen in her conscious state. And when she enters into a hunger pang or something like that, even more rampant, but like it's more powerful, but like less like focused and honed. But I have literally, like, she struck fear in like the hearts of so many characters, and like I think that it's insane to think of like the fact that two awakened devil fruit users, two supernovas, two people sharing the same bounty as two other Yonkos right now pretty much like are like we're needed to take her out, and it's still ambiguous. She could still be around,
not only that, they were beaten to the point where they could not fight anymore. There was no more fight left in them. They even tried to stand up and fight again before Kaido fell. Remember, like when Onigashima was still raiding a little bit, and they couldn't because of Big Mom. Big Mom also defeated Kaido, and that is confirmed defeat. Big Mom is my favorite Yonko, and the fact that we're even talking about her makes me so happy because she is the sword is her main form of attack besides eating or stealing the soul.
She does punch people really hard.
Yeah, on the occasion. And she has that wild ass hockey scream.
Oh yeah.
And that strong head, and that powerful.
And that strong head, yeah.
Yeah, she punched the fuck
Talk about her head, yeah.
Hey, no way. We cannot talk about we cannot talk about Big Mom on stream without Lucas getting way out of pocket. I'm sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, Josh, please.
If she doesn't have the sword, she can just punch out the fuck out of you, like we saw with page 1.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude,
Linlin, goated.
Young Linlin forgot everything, and she still was able to headbutt Queen to the point that he felt it. And he's like second command, you know?
Yeah, Big Mom is a force to be reckoned with. I don't think any of us are surprised that she would be part of the conversation because, not only is her hockey peak, her devil fruit is one of the best in the verse, and it's not even awakened yet. We assume that it's awakened because of how much it can do, but we do not have confirmation that it has fully awakened yet.
Yeah, the craziest thing is that she can just animate countless swords and have them fight independently of her as well, which is ridiculous to me. And they are on level with her. Yeah,
they are on level with her. Her homies are almost on level with her. It's wild.
Really quick though, I got a shout out to we've got Grand Line Bound. That's Captain Smokey right there, the emergency food supply and doctor of the Eternal Dawn in the chat. We shouted you out earlier, but I want to do it again while you're here. Thank you so much for the really cool Eternal poses that we have as our inactive PNGs on screen right now when we're not talking. They look so good, and I wanted to make sure that I use them in the layout and stuff like that. But that's the goat who did it right there, and go check out his recent Skypiea Part 1 abridged. It's hilarious, and
yes,
many of the crew is also featured in it, and so yeah, huge shout outs to the boy in chat. We wanted to make sure you got your flowers while we were live. But yeah, Big Mom, insane feats. We've almost never seen in that. As a literally a 5-year-old took out 2 ex-captains of the giant warrior pirates. or like one of them, like for sure took out, but like pretty much effortlessly as a 5-year-old. And she's only scaled more and more and more through her years and was able to kind of cannibalize on other people's souls and powers, and has basically like I know we're not necessarily scaling just devil fruit feats here, but like we did it with Law, and I'll do it again with Big Mom, is to take into consideration not just her abilities as somebody who wields a sword, but just as a combatant overall. When you account for hockey usage, some of the most cracked in the entire verse. When you account for devil fruit usage, literally my singular favorite and most menacing devil fruit like user in the entire story we've seen so far. And it's not close, in my opinion.
When I ranked the Sorcerer, it was, I think, only like the 3rd or 4th Paramecia that got a 10 out of 10. Like, just because it's so overpowered. It is insane. And then the ability to, like you said, Napoleon can become any type of blade. She did the sovereignty by herself. Like, it took 2 supernovas awakened with their devil fruits to beat her. Like,
and one of them is
top tier.
Yeah, and the Ope Ope no Mi is like literally considered the ultimate devil fruit, and that awakening was still not enough by itself to actually like take this woman down. So like
twice with it. I had to hit her twice with it. Oh, God, I love Big Mom.
Shrug it off, shock release like it's nothing.
No, Lucas, calm down, man. Calm down. We're on stream. We're not on a private day. Calm down.
But I think excellent argument, wonderful candidate, Josh. I actually do put Big Mom as a combatant. I put her far above Law in like a one-on-one, and probably even above Bogard. I don't know about Helmeppo level, but I'd maybe tied.
She up there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dak, I agree. She's definitely still around. I think we'll see her again.
No, Vex, just to add on what you just said about that last thought about Helmeppo, I feel like when Zoro thinks of the greatest swordsman, the only thing he sees is Helmeppo. All the other ones are mid level. That's how I imagine it now.
It's like how high does your ceiling go? And it's like Zoro thinking to, and it's just a silhouette of Helmeppo. It's just the cheeks.
The fake straw hats. The fake straw hats with Helmeppo's face on it.
It's not his face, it's his cheeks, bro. But he's got the guys, I really hope you're enjoying this stream so far. I know I'm having a blast. But that brings us to Lucas's next pick. You said I think you already kind of spoiled it, but let us hear your argument. Who you got next?
General Frankie.
Yeah, but like spit. Like, make your case.
There's nothing else to say. It's General Frankie. My man was swiping left and right on the officers at Onigashima, and he beat one of the Tobi Roppo as General Frankie with what? With the General Frankie sword.
Well, it's Frankie Shogun.
It's a facto. That's a swordsman.
Wait.
General Frankie Shogun. It's so facto. Frankie's best swordsman.
But it took both Frankie and Chopper to try to take on base like a Big Mom, and they didn't even really leave a scratch. So do you scale Frankie Shogun or General Frankie above Big Mom, our last entry?
I'm going to be 100% candid with you guys. I did not prepare to talk about Frankie Shogun at all for this stream. JJ said it in chat, and I was like, I'm going to rep my boy so hard right now.
Oh,
and then
goodness.
I did not. My actual next choice was Brooke.
But I mean, it's actually huge that, like, what I will say to his feats is he did knock the shit out of Luffy whenever Luffy was about to get hit by Saturn on Egghead, and he was tanking like I think like one hit from Magorose. He was just like, he was fine with that. So I mean, like, I don't know if I put him like on like Helmeppo and Big Mom level, you know what I mean? But like the thing is he's modular.
He's
you can upgrade him, and like with Wappa Metal, that's like unlike anything we've seen in the verse, except for maybe, and this is just conjecture, like, you know, like speculation. The liquor iron ore that is still so mysterious, but like other than that, like there's almost nothing as durable outside of like atom wood itself as Wappa Metal, and the fact that he could be upgraded is really, really interesting. But we did see a superior version to General Frankie in Vega Force 1, as stated by Frankie himself, get taken out in Egghead.
Yes.
But it got taken out in Egghead. So I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like I said, I'm just trying to represent for my boy down in the chat.
I respect it. I respect your resolve, but you know, if Sea Stone comes into play, that's insane. But it does nothing against Bogard, so that's, you know.
Listen, though, I will say though, to Frankie, like, just because I have to bring up Frankie at least once per stream. But I do think that him and Robin are the next two likely candidates to get armament hockey in the story. And if that happens, huge. If he can make Frankie Shogun's Frankie blade a black blade, even bigger.
So I might have something for you guys that will push against for General Frankie. Remember how for the whole pre-time skip, he only had one bounty? But the only time where his threat got really big and he got a 94 million bounty, they had to put General Frankie's face on it, on how OP he is. This shows the level of swordsmanship that General Frankie has, that has the woman taking in their boots. I mean, can't say I'm not helping you, Lucas.
There's really not an argument to be made here, Kube. I'm not gonna lie. Frankie is a swordsman. He just uses a sword for one attack when he's Frankie Shogun. But I would like to speak on Brook a little bit, since that was my original choice. And I just had to show out for my boy JJ. I think Brook is a contender for definitely second best swordsman on the Straw Hat. Out of the two swordsmen, second best swordsman on the Straw Hat. But no, I mean, Brook
Right
has a
behind
lot
Luffy
of good
Taro.
feats in the story. Yeah, right behind Luffy Toro.
I just derailed you.
Guys, 66 minutes into the stream on the new channel before I said the F word. Let's go.
But we've already dropped an F-bomb.
but no,
No, you already said
we've
Frankie,
done it.
dude.
Oh my god. Oh wow.
Oh my god, yeah, that derailed me entirely. But no, Brook, we've seen a lot of feats from him. He's got the humming swordsman. You know, he was the general of some country's army back in the day.
True.
Like, my man has feats. I don't know if I would scale him up with, like, law or anything, but I put him at Bogart's level, for sure. Especially once we start getting Brook hockey feats, because my man is pure soul. Let him tap into that hockey.
I mean, I have a question. Does he really have feet? The fact that it's only bones? Like, can you consider that being... And I'm just kidding.
No, I think that, like, the thing we also have to understand here is, like, you know, we brought up a little bit of the sweat scaling factor when we were talking about, like, Blackbeard earlier and a few other instances, and I won't go into every little example or anything like that, but we did get Brook staring down somebody who we have in the top tier right now in Charlotte Linlin Big Mom herself, and saying, know your place, young lady. Like, I ain't scared of you. Like, and I think that's insane.
Finish the quote. Know your place, young lady, and show me your panties.
Okay. But I think Brook is one of my absolute, like, most, like, favorite characters that a lot of people really seem to underrate. And, like, honestly, people think power wise outside of, like, the monster trio or quartet now, and, like, Luffy himself and stuff like that, like, that, you know, the Straw Hats don't have much to bring to the table, and we haven't seen enough on-screen development and stuff like that. Like, y'all just lacking. Like, you gotta, like, really, like Brook is on an entire another level as far as combatants go, without us even knowing about his devil fruit usage. Like, this guy was an absolute menace and was able to go toe-to-toe with, like, and, like, was semi-compatible with the corpse of a sword god. He didn't come out victorious, but that's a freaking sword god, you know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, I don't know. He's up there, and that was the pre-time skip. Now he has even more feats to go off of.
For 50 years, too. He fought him for 50 years. He fought Ryuma.
No, he didn't fight him for that
that's
long.
crazy.
No,
Because
6 years, I think. 6
yeah,
years.
Gecko Moria
6
wasn't
years?
around
I thought
for.
he-
No, Gecko Moria
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
around for
My
that
bad.
long. Yeah, like,
Yep. I'm dumb. Ignore what I just said. But yeah, no, 6 years fighting a sword god multiple times a week.
Look what I'm gonna bring up your favorite arc, Solar Bark. Think of how dangerous Ors became with Luffy's shadow, and look at how people in Wano praises Ryuma even after his death. And the only shadow that seemed to, at least for that Moria chose, was Brook's shadow. This shows his level. Only one, the only shadow in that island that Ryuma would be, you know, respectful towards Ryuma. So that's another point towards him.
I think when you also
that's a really good point.
yeah, when you also take into the account like that, you know, he stagnated during the 50 years, but like he reawakened after meeting Luffy, and his dream of reuniting with Laboon is alive again. And this man had the full time skip to do whatever he wanted and just casually became the like #1 like musical sensation across the world. Like there is no ceiling for this man. Anything he wants, he accomplishes. And I think it's just a matter of time before he scales well above even Luffy himself. I said it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Brook top 1 in the verse for real.
Honestly,
On both planes, the
when you think
spiritual
about, like,
and the physical.
he's not on a clock. Like, you know, do we realistically see this individual unaliving due to old age or anything like that? He can't be drowned in the ocean. Like, as the main weakness of a devil fruit user, like, what realistically takes this man out? And like, with 1,000+ years worth of training down the line, he has the most unimaginable, unfathomable potential, more than anybody else in the entire universe. Except for potentially, speculatively, another immortal being in Emu. That's right. I scale Brook
Guard.
at Emu level or above.
I can't
It's
tell
just-
if you're trolling or not right now.
Dude,
Find the hole in my argument. Find the hole in my argument. Like, like
for you guys, I'm just warning you guys. My next pick, we're not done yet, I know, but just prepare yourself. My next pick is gonna be very controversial, so prepare yourself.
respect. I think that it's really, really great that you brought up somebody who wields a prepared cane. And Soul Solid is one of the coolest swords, in my opinion, that we've seen. And his like notch slash is like such a dude. Brook is so cool, and I could spit about Brook forever. And you know, just all Thriller Bark, all things Thriller Bark, everything comes back to Thriller Bark. But we got to talk about the other.
Really
We got to talk about the other prepared cane user in the story. Because my next pick is the GOAT himself, literally an admiral, if we want to get into power scaling. It's Fujitora, the Wisteria Tiger himself. Isho has to be near the ceiling, one of the top swordsmen in the entire verse. And we have recently been blessed with the information in SBS that he is the wielder of a supreme grade blade, the first supreme grade blade that we are talking about today in the Yakuza Kasen. So I don't think I need to make too much of a case here, but dude is able to like casually beef with Sabo without breaking a sweat, and Sabo survived literally all 5 of the Gorosei and Emu while carrying literal dead weight. So I don't know.
Facts.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm Fujitora's absolutely up there. Dude can like, aside from the devil fruit usage where he's able to like lift up like entire like islands worth of debris and drop literal meteors on you. You know, this guy is his observation hockey is, you know, we haven't seen like future sight from him, but as far as like an active perceptive like field, this is well above what we've even seen from God Usopp. So I don't think I need to make much more of a case. Fujitora's him.
I really do. Yeah, I would just say because Fujitora, he's just top. Like he's peak in. I don't even think we've seen his full extent.
Not even close.
Not only as a devil fruit user, but as a swordsman.
Literally not even
very
close.
clear that like Zoro, he carries that swordsman's honor. He carries that code of swordsman. I think this is actually more than likely our first legitimate swordsman of this stream.
Yo, Knack put in chat, dude can wipe out the dinosaurs. That is a crazy feat. Yeah, that's true. He can do that. So
Well, actually, that's not true because Brooke is a legitimate swordsman as well, but he focuses. He's more of a musician. You know what I mean? Like that is his role.
all of the takes,
like a fencer, swordsman.
all of the takes have been legitimate, but like let's not clown ourselves. But none have really matched up to Helmeppo and to quite the degree that this one does, in my opinion.
Helmeppo's master himself, Bogart, much his name.
But no, like legitimately, I would be surprised if anyone doesn't put Fujitora like near the very top. I put him adjacent to the very top swordsman, if not the like one of the top swordsmen we've seen, especially knowing the level of his blade. That we got that information recently. Like Oda was holding back Fujitora. We haven't even seen him sweat or flex. He's just chilling the whole time, hanging out at Marijois, casually being like, "You want me to end this whole encounter right now?" And they're just like, "No, don't." And he's like, "Okay, say less." Like he's literally he's never taken an encounter seriously in the series so far. Like it's actually insane. It's terrifying to think about how high his ceiling goes.
Dude, imagine if he awakens the grab fruit as well. Like,
man, listen, I'll say this: Fujitora is so high.
Press fruit, my bad.
Zushi.
Fujitora is so high.
Zushi.
Fujitora is so high in the ceiling that he can't even see the ceiling.
Okay, yeah, that's why he can't see it. But I
just think, like Vex for real.
For real, yeah, he just like me. But I think that like Fujitora, this was a legitimate take. I wanted to walk in here with like almost as legitimate as Helmeppo. Shout out to JJ, the biggest supporter in the chat. I see you. I love it. I'm here for it. But like, I think that legitimately, if he were morally opposed to the Straw Hats, this would be the true end of story like matchup for somebody like Zoro, who has just all of the plot convenience in the world to become as strong as he has, like with all due respect. But he is not morally opposed to the Straw Hats, so I don't see a reason for him to actually fight them outside of duty, which he already is very lax about, But this is somebody who could give even Gear 5 like a complete run for his money. Like you see like the whole Kaido and Onigashima like lifting it up, like cool, that's fine. Like literally Fujitora can do that, and so I think like one-on-one against Fujitora, always bet on him.
Always bet on Fujitora. Always bet on purple.
Absolutely. It's just don't actually gamble with him because he's pretty bad at that from what we've seen, but gamble on him.
Yeah, bet on him, not with him.
Exactly. But I mean, I don't know. Does anyone else have anything else they want to talk about with Fujitora, or like, are we cool putting him like in the top tier,
Yeah,
I think he's either at top tier or close to it, man. Because like I really don't think any of us really need to push more on his case, like you said, because like there's no more to be said. Like he's just that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he is the man, the dude, he himself. What were you saying, Cube? I'm so sorry.
I was just gonna say first, what's up, Twee? Nice to see you, bro.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Ooh, let me turn you up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I would even place it next to the level of because what we said about Bogart. I would put Fujitora that's at least at that tier, definitely.
Give me just a second and I'll get Tree's little reactive PNG set up. But yeah, welcome to Tree the Wolf into the discussion. We've been spitting nothing but facts here. We're currently talking about Fujitora and where he scales as far as one of the top.
Good swordsman.
Yeah. And I know you're a fan of him because he dealt with Sabo, and
Helmeppo's at the top currently, Tree.
Rightfully so.
All right.
It's just facts, like
who all's been discussed? We got Helmeppo and Fujitora.
Talked about Big
We
Mom.
got Fujitora, Big Mom, Brooke, Frankie Shogun, Bogard, the legend. He's number 2 right now, in my opinion. I don't care what anyone else says. Let's see.
All right,
I,
all
s-
right.
I said Mr. One and S-Hawk because they're both swordsmen, being the wielder of the dice fruit.
It's just crazy to me we don't know who S-Hawk is based off of. I think that's one of One Piece's greatest mysteries right now.
Yeah.
For now.
I agree.
Yeah, Frankie was discussed. We had to bring up Frankie at least once per stream. That's my quota.
So yeah.
Chat, how we
Yeah.
doing out there? Oh,
I got one. I got a doozy for y'all.
Let's
Those
go.
monkeys on the vampires island.
Humandrels.
Humandrels.
Yeah, Humandrels, yeah.
Oh man, that is.
That's another huge mystery in One Piece. So it's crazy that you brought that up because we have no idea where they learned to be such proficient trainers, but they are the only thing that we can legitimately credit to Zoro's ridiculous growth through the time skip. I can't see any other factor that came into play canonically, you know, as far as like how he climbed so high in the 2 years that he spent away from the Straw Hats. He was just hanging out with the
I think it was all
Humandrels,
the
climbing towards the
Humandrels
top. Yeah.
and Verona.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think there's theories about S-Hawk and the Humandrels, but I honestly I don't see the connection.
They're based
Yeah.
on like that's
I don't
fan
either.
fiction. Like, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Like I respect it, you know, like I could see Oda going there, but we have nothing really to go off of. You should
Yeah,
be
it's-
visible to the chat now. I have your little reactive PNG set up
Okay.
with your little ace
Hell
hat
yeah.
on your eternal pose. But yeah.
I have to say too,
Actually,
Josh's eternal pose is the greatest one I've seen so far. By the way, if you guys have not seen it, it's in the Discord right now.
Yeah.
Oh my
maybe
God.
Change it.
yeah,
I'll
I'm
fix
gonna
it.
I'm gonna say this. It's very fun because with Tree's PNG, Lucas PNG, and my PNG, we have ASL in the Discord.
And it's a
Oh.
triangle too. Like it's a
Oh my
cute little
goodness.
triangle. Like the Florian triangle. Everything ties back to Thriller Bark, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, dude, did we talk about the swordsman in Thriller Bark? Not Brooke, but
Ryuma? Not yet.
Okay.
Not
We've
yet.
talked a little bit about him, but yeah, it's how am I supposed to fit this properly on screen? I'm sorry, I'm looking at this PNG and I'm just like, what? I'm sorry to not derail us. We've talked a little bit about Ryuma in corpse form when we talked about Brooke. But as far as him actually canonically in antiquity, hundreds of years back, we don't really have too much to go off of, as like it's not entirely canon. Like the monster like one shot that Oda did, it's speculatively canon. So, but like it's really interesting to think like that was somebody who was referred to as the sword god themselves, right? And so I think that's really the metric we're trying to match all of these candidates up to, without like actually being somebody that we
Ryuma
can.
is the ceiling.
Yeah, we
A
can't.
sword god.
Yeah, we can't really like in modern day like count his feats from back then like for this argument, but like we could match everybody up against him. Does that make sense?
Does
Yeah, in Helmeppo, definitely claps Ryuma.
who beat Ryuma?
Zoro.
Yeah, but
So-
that was a nerf Ryuma.
I mean, we got to understand that Brooke was whittling down Ryuma for like years
Whittly.
before, like whittly, no, but like he was like the pickle jar was completely loosened by time Zoro came in and just like, you know, basically sniped this from Brooke. But that's really Brooke's
Okay,
W.
so
Let's be real.
we can't power scale Zoro above Ryuma. Is basically what I'm hearing.
Not
Well,
Ryuma,
no,
it's
we
fine.
can though. Thriller Bark Zoro beat Ryuma,
but that was
but it was
Ryuma.
not prime Ryuma. That was
Exactly.
reanimated Ryuma.
Still, you know, I see what Tree is trying
So
to
that
do
means-
because he had a strong double still, you know.
Oh yeah, but that
Yeah.
means Hachinosu Helmeppo could beat reanimated Ryuma. Just saying, easily, like it was nothing, just by feats alone.
I love these takes, but the Humandrels is a really solid pull, and I love that you brought them up. I remember when we were getting hyped for this stream a while back, we were you know mulling back and forth like how we would Like, and that is like, it's if we are gonna have the conversation about Zoro, that is the most integral facet to it, as that's how he got to the levels that we see him. Everything that we've seen about his control of hockey has been forged in combat, and the Humandrels were the only thing we really have to go off of from his time skip. And I think that that's where he really like learned, like whatever, you know, we all think that Zoro's going to open up that eye eventually, right? That had to have come from the Humandrels, though. Like whatever like power he's been holding back, it's like he would have had to like you know, like hone that and focus that from lessons that he was taught, getting slapped around by an island full of Humandrels.
There's actually a skill that I'm sure he picked it up because he never did a pre-time skip. That ability that, just like Luffy and Usopp as well, to pick up during his fight. The moment you introduce to him, he learns stuff in Podcast, like cutting to flames. Remember, Humandrels had that skill as well. They can mimic anything they've experienced. So I wouldn't be shocked that, you know, those extra feats that he got was thanks to
Listen, I really want to shout out these the monkey. Okay. I'm not saying they're number one. I'm saying they're always going to be the number 2 slot because they can mimic number 1.
Exactly. Yeah, I get you. It's like when you're talking about like Doomsday, you know, like there's always going to be like that comeback, you know. So I completely agree. Like it's a wonderful argument.
Their
shout out Will of Dreams
to who they're fighting against. Like,
yeah, shout out Will of Dreams in the chat. He said Zoro lost his eye and cut out a Humandrel's eye, which is like a Sharingan.
Oh my goodness. So interesting. So we've talked a little bit about Zoro, and I think that we slide him in, you know, obviously near the top tier. I'd say maybe just below Bogard level, you know, because Bogard has had 27 years of honing his skills with Garp himself, the hero of the Marines, which we saw what happened to Kube after just 2 years. But like, I think that both of them have something very unique about them, similarly to the top of the verse right now in the discussion, which is Helmeppo, is that they're not affected by devil fruit weaknesses. They can't get taken out by a bubble. So that's really, really something to take into consideration. And of active hockey feats that we've seen so far, Zoro is above the other two, but like, y'all just wait. Helmeppo is clearly going to completely blow us away, as will Bogard, but not quite to the same level. But I think
we've seen Helmeppo and Zoro fight.
We have
like actual sword fights. I mean,
yeah, post in his lobby.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a brief moment with this, you know, knife and sword.
He completely took Zoro by surprise. Yeah, he like Zoro was like, "Wow, oh my god, I can't even believe it! Like you're so amazing." You know, something along those lines.
Helmeppo will be Zoro's end of series combatant. I'm telling y'all, he will be his final combatant in the series.
And that was pre-time skip, right? So
it was. So he had less than 6 months. I can
get on board with this.
Yeah,
I can get on board with this.
He had less than 6 months then, and then 2 years prior, while training with Garp and Kube and Helmeppo. Like, come on now.
Dude, in Hashinosu, when Kube and Garp teamed up with Prince Groose and I think it was Kujaku, who was the other one there? Helmeppo.
Helmeppo, who launched Kube so he could hit the Honesty Impact? Helmeppo.
Spoilers for anime only.
Who was the first person in the story to defeat Zoro? Helmeppo.
That's true. Like Zoro doesn't have a lot of L's, but you got to remember where he got his first one. You know. So exactly. I think that. But we've talked about Zoro. We've talked about the Humandrels a good bit, and we in rotation. I think that next up puts us back at Kube of the Red Sea. Okay, guys. Brother, who's your next pick? Is it another man made of swords?
No. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the same angle I've always gone with. So guys, don't cancel me, but you know, we can't always pick the heroes. We also have to pick the villains of the stories. And as we know, people keep talking about how God Valley was so big. And this guy started with 10,000, minus 10,000% God Valley, and was crowned the champion of God Valley. And that is obviously the one who unalived Mjosgard, Figureland Garling.
Oh no. Oh, somebody had to bring it up. So
I did not see this coming. Actually. I am surprised right now.
And think about it. There was
This is brilliant. Yeah, this is brilliant.
There was Roger. There was all those people.
Before we get too into the whole God's Knights discussion and stuff like that, like I have to shout out Coffee Black in the chat. Major goat for saying this. First person to show Whoop Slap or to know Whoop Slap is Joy Boy Helmeppo. Like that's hilarious. But yeah, like the God's Knights, it's like the same thing I was saying with Bogard. Like these individuals were around, like Bogard, I'm scaling him with 27 years of training with Garp and stuff like that. But we know that Figureland was already in peak form. What was it, 39 years ago?
38 years ago.
Yeah, so in God Valley. And so this does actually potentially put him in the same argument as Whitebeard, before his passing in Marineford, and current Rayleigh and current Garp, is that they have passed their prime and are now a bit diminished. But there is obviously, with what we've seen in the anime recently, there's still a significant degree of power to the more prolific figures from the last generation, even when they're past their prime. But
yeah,
I'm
not sure where I would put him.
But also remember, it's really implied that the scars that on Whitebeard's body are from Garling. Because
true. The way he talked to Shanks about it, by looking at Shanks, he remembers the scars. Yeah, true.
Yeah, this is facts.
And also to bring some, because I did for the Garling one, I did some bit of research on the side. He regained his 10,000 points deficit back before even the event happened, and it does seem to be implies that when the Garp and Roger had to team up for some reason against the Rocks Pirates to protect the Cecil Dragon, and as we know, most likely it's because the God's Knights were nearby. So the fact that he was considered a champion, we didn't get on panel feats, but it does show that he is at a certain level already 38 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's Shank's daddy.
Okay.
And all that hockey has to come from somewhere, because it seems to be genetic. I mean, Garp turned Hachinosu into Hiroshima, like that.
Whoa.
That is facts. And look at Luffy. Well, look at Luffy's hockey as well. Like
that is crazy.
Look at Kaido and Yamato.
We also have confirmation as far back as Amazon Lily stating that Conqueror's hockey is genetic as the Kuja, like a warrior princess and stuff like that. It's like so yes, I agree that to a degree hockey is genetic, but we don't know if it's like similar in potency or if it's just like similar types, like like with Yasop and Usopp both having and this is a film red feat, so take it with with a grain of salt or whatever, but like with them having very comparable and very potent superior, it's stated to be superior to Katakuri observation, like future sight. So just saying.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I think that it is a really great point that you brought up, though, that he's able to hang in God Valley as a very prolific figure amongst figures like Garp, Roger, and Rocks, all three in their prime. And Whitebeard was there, Big Mom, like Finland, it's insane to even imagine what it would take to survive in on a battlefield like that, let alone be heralded as the champion, so that's crazy.
I think
that
I told you it would be a controversial one, but someone had to give him. I purposely tried to phrase it like I was going to talk about Nozuro.
Yeah, Knack also brought up a wonderful point, is that Dragon did say that like it's really the end game once the God Knights start to mobilize. So like Dragon himself, the world's most heinous criminal, if we're gonna be like title scaling, is like legitimately considering this person as a full-on threat, to the degree that he wouldn't even consider like Yonko or like any other like actual like thing standing in the way from the resistance and freedom of the world at large. this is when the real like fun stuff, or when the real battle begins, is when these guys actually mobilize. So that's huge. But we don't have anything much more to go off of with Garling.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah. So oof.
Yeah, Garling's up there though, man. Like, just the feats that we can assume from him, just the God Valley stuff and everything. That alone, I think, puts him up there. And the fact that there is something to the lineage factor of the figurines as we see with Shanks and what we can assume of Garling, that has to be up there a little bit.
And also, he's one of the 12 candidates to take the One Piece.
Yeah.
He was on that panel.
He was in those
that's
panels.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
Huge.
Big facts.
I think that's a wonderful candidate, and again, like some of these end game figures like Helmeppo and Bogard were only going to be revealed all of their full scope and capabilities during the final war. But I'm anxious to see it. I would love to see if that does end up being true, is that he's top of the verse. And that brings us to. Oh, go ahead.
If Garling and Helmeppo have the final battle together, the sky won't split, the earth will split. That's what I'm gonna say.
That's what I'm saying. Red line gone. Goodbye. See ya. But that brings us to Josh for your next pick. Who you got? Who's top of the verse?
Yeah, all right. Enough time has passed. It's time to bring up the
Kagurabachi. Huge. We're gonna crossover. Like,
yeah, that would be quite pick. But yeah, one of the main characters of the story, Sanji. He's 100% a swordsman.
Oh man.
Oof, okay. Time to defend yourself, man.
This is crazy. So I mean, we do know that he scales above Wanzi, which is huge. So there's that. What other major feats do we have with him as far as using swords, though?
Yeah, a major feat from Sanji comes from the spin-off Shokugeki no Sanji, when made by the author of Fudors. Like, for context, there is this fish. You need to.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you need to cut it with precise and in one shot. And Sanji at the start of the chapter can really cut it with his actual knives. But later in the chapter, Zoro gives him Wado Ichimonji, and Sanji does it in one try. Like, the amount of precision you need with that, and it's crazy.
I think
Sanji could wield it like no problem.
Oh my goodness. You really can't understate. Also, I think it's in another it's in like a short manga. It's like a tertiary canon, but it's about like him cooking like it's called like a tomahawk spiny lobster ravioli or something, and it's supposed to have like one of the hardest carapaces in the entire animal kingdom. Like, it's such a ridiculously hard to open up shell without damaging the meat on the inside of the claws. And Sanji is able to do it fairly effortlessly, which exhibits just a ridiculous level of power as well as control. Like, the precision needed to execute this dish is a mark of a true great like swordsman, in the ability to, you know, have those that knivesmanship is crazy, and I think that translates easily.
Yeah, and there is yet another feat from this manga. There is this ship called Scarlet Red Ram that basically, when he gets as an adult, is pretty much indestructible, the skin, and you need to be a master chef to carry it. And Sanji did it as a child. Effortlessly. Like, the only one other guy that could do something like this is Zeph himself.
Crazy. Yeah, and we know that Zeph had all of the answers to conquer the Grand Line. If you had his book, like, he probably would have found the One Piece in no time if he was so like willing to do so, you know. So scaling him against Zeph and putting him like in that same ring, and again, Zeph is at the point where he's past his prime, much like some of the more like enigmatic figures and prolific figures from a previous generation or era. So I think that we could put Sanji above Zeph at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Sanji goes in between, like right above, or I feel like he goes right below Bogard and right above Zoro.
It's a good fit for me, honestly. I think that's
I think Sanji limits himself by not using the knife in battle. Like
the community would probably unanimously agree that that's the perfect placement for Sanji. I can't see it really going any other way, right?
He nerfs himself because he's such a gentleman. He wants it to be a fair fight, so he doesn't use his hands and his knife. We saw the one battle where he used his knife, and like it was really one-sided.
Too OP.
He's definitely top.
The only real weakness this man shows is his chivalry, you know, for lack of a better term, and the fact that like he would be taken out by any other like swords lady, like so I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna say the name I want to say because I'm pretty sure it's Tree's next pick, but I think there is one individual that could without a doubt effortlessly beat Sanji in a contest of swordsmanship. But other than that, I might even say adjacent to Bogard, I would put him there. But we do have to like account for the fact that he does have that glaring weakness and that he will not fight a lady.
I mean, we all know the truth. There's a reason why Big Mom from all the Sriracha went after Sanji. Why, if Sanji was in Roof Piece, ZKK never happened, but SKK would have happened. We all know it, you know. It's Sanji kills Kaido.
Some people think that that's how Wano really should have gone. I love how we just lost like 4 viewers. I'm sorry. I'm like watching it right now. Like, wild. Crazy. But yeah, we are spitting too much.
One of them came back.
Yeah, we are spitting too many facts here. Does anyone else have anything they want to say about specifically Sanji and his ridiculous abilities to wield a sword above almost anyone else in the verse? All right. So that brings us back around to the one, the only Straw Hat Lucas. If you've got another one prepped and ready for us, another interesting take.
I'm gonna say my whoop slap. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know if you muted your mic, but we are not able to hear you, brother, if you're speaking.
Yeah.
He might be away. In which case
it's fine. Here, let me step in. Vex already alluded to it a little bit. I'm gonna shout out Tashigi.
I know.
And I feel like Tashigi's obviously just one spot above Sanji. Inherently, obviously. Like has to be.
There's no.
So I feel like there's not really discussion there. So can I shout out a second one that I think has way more discussion behind it?
I mean, yeah, pop off.
Kuina.
Oh.
Technically. Right? Or am I stepping on toes? If someone else is gonna bring it up, we can pass it.
No. It's a good pick. I was just gonna say, as long as there's no stairs, she's a good swordsman.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, she's got to be pretty low tier, but like she's never lost to Zoro, so she has to go above Zoro. So maybe Zoro actually has to go further down the tier list.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I think that like it's insane to think about, like Oda had to snuff this person out before they could reach their full potential, and we might not ever see that unless we get like a hell arc or something like that, you know, which would be really crazy, seeing her in full form, having all of this time to train against some of the strongest opponents throughout history. Gives me chills, and honestly might even rival Helmeppo. But we don't get to see that currently. Hey, what's up, brother?
Scared the hell out of me.
Welcome back.
But Kuina,
dude, just
yeah, Kuina, if like while being held back by, you know, the norms of the society that she was being raised in and whatnot, was still able to overcome, you know, any opponent that was put in front of her. And like, again, like if we do see the underworld, the afterlife, or like a version of hell, she's just been able to like straight up piece up all of the strongest figures throughout all of One Piece world's history, thousands of years worth of contenders. And I think she's probably, if she is, you know, sparring with them in the afterlife, I would put her well above even Bogard.
Are we talking about Kuina?
Real.
Yeah.
Real.
yeah.
If she's that high for you, hold on. If she's that high for you, though, then by process of elimination, you have to rank someone above her, and that someone is down D stairs.
That's what I was just gonna say. They're technically undefeated in the verse.
Yeah,
They've won their one fight. They're undefeated. I think Down D Stairs is top one.
I think so as well.
Crazy.
Have you ever seen Emu transcend the stairs at Marie Joie? No.
Yeah, but
Because
hold
they're
on.
afraid of down these stairs.
I don't know if I put them above Helmet Bow though. Like, pump the brakes, guys.
Helmet
Let's
Bow's
not
lost a
get
fight.
let's not get
Yeah, no,
ridiculous here.
That's my thought process.
Yeah.
Right.
These are all based takes, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you think about like how high does your ceiling go, like Helmet Bow can still grow and climb, but like stairs are only as tall as they are when they, you know, there's no the ceiling is set from the stairs.
I don't know. I think stairs could awaken some. They still have like a hockey awakening. Stairs aren't at
Oh
their
my
peak,
God,
you
guys.
know.
Armament, like this is what everybody showed up to see, is us having this conversation right now, and I'm so
Yeah, this
here
is
for
exactly it. Yeah, down D stairs power scaling is exactly what the audience has been asking from us.
You all
for
knew it was
at least
happening.
2 years now.
Yeah, you guys knew it was happening, but like I still think my argument is pretty valid. Is that we
Mac
have
brings up a really good point. 1 second, I'm so sorry, Bex. He said the stairs are arguably one in the verse, but they don't use swords, and this is true. They're just top one. They have Conqueror stairs hockey.
I don't know, man. How did Stairs beat Kuina? Kuina doesn't throw hands. She
Wait,
sword
guys.
fights.
Guys,
no,
you
but
didn't know
they
that?
didn't. It wasn't sword versus sword there though. It was.
We
like
don't know that. We didn't see it. It was off screen.
And plus,
Okay.
we don't know down D stairs true lineage because he's never had his real parents in his life. He's only ever had Step.
Ooh, there might be a connection between Stairs and S-Hawk.
Yeah, actually, you know what? There is a link. You know what it is? So before Mr. One, the wielder of the dice fruit was actually down these stairs. That's how he beat Kuina. He's a sword
Oh my
stairs.
God. Okay. I love it here.
I'm gonna fucking lose it, guys.
This so we'll count that as your entry, Lucas, as we kind of passed you up to get to trees, and so
I had an actual one.
we'll get back to it because we want to keep the conversations flowing, and to speak on steps that are also like swords and things like we got to talk about the man with technically no feats in the verse canon, but somebody who we are all extremely aware is absolutely near the pinnacle, a person on Yonko level with 2 Meito blades, Shiki, the golden lion himself. Somebody had to say it. I've heard a lot of wonderful theories about Shiki and him being able to beef with Roger multiple times, and the only real damage that he incurred was having a steering wheel into his head, which, you know, that's rough, buddy, but like Roger was only able to do that much, whereas Shiki himself was able to remove his own 2 legs, which I think is a bigger amount of damage that he was able to deal than what Roger was able to deal. So I think that Shiki's on Roger level, probably around Helmeppo level, honestly. And the fact that both of them are wielding 2 supreme grade blades, it's a really interesting discussion.
It's hard for me to speak on Shiki if I'm being honest. just because I've not seen the film he is in.
Well, the
so
film's
all
not
I know
canon.
about him is from Chapter 0. Yeah, all I know from him is Chapter 0 and the brief appearance we saw in the God Valley.
It's opposite of Fujitora.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Actually, you're right. It's really the opposite
crazy.
Even the color scheme, purple and yellow, are opposites.
But like the film is not canon, so you don't need to really worry about seeing Strong World. Although it's the best, it's literally the best One Piece movie in my opinion. But like, like really, all you need to know is that homie was on Rock's crew. Homie was, aside from Rock's, Roger's biggest like rival. And homie has it's confirmed a ridiculously cracked devil fruit, as well as two supreme grade swords.
And when he escaped Impel Down 20 years before Luffy, did it all by himself.
And he was boxing.
Anyone else.
Yeah, he was boxing with Sengoku and Garp simultaneously after losing 2 legs.
You know, in Dragon Ball, when Goku and Gohan go in and they train, so Super Saiyan is like costs 0 energy for them, and that's their new base. Shiki is perma Super Saiyan 3, and I feel like that's worth something.
He has eyebrows. No. He has eyebrows, so it can't be Super Saiyan 3.
Painted on. They could be painted up. They're hockey. Yeah. They're little hockey things.
Hockey bros.
I think that's hilarious.
I'm very excited to see more of Shiki in the canon material, because I think we all pretty much subscribe to the theory that he will come back at some point. So I'm hoping that when and if he does that, yeah. I see what you did there. But like I want to see that when he does, though. I really do hope we see a really good showing from him.
I was saying like earlier with Fujitora, like Kaido is over here picking up Onigashima and stuff like that. Cool. But I mean, although it is not canon in the movie Strong World, Shiki was picking up several islands from around the world, from different blues, specifically East Blue, and created an entire floating archipelago of disconnected multiple islands and made Merville, which is not canon, but that is a ridiculous feat. And people are just like, oh, well, Kaido was stressed, you know, and he was having to focus and hold concentration on sustaining Onigashima. Okay, cool. This guy had like 24 islands that he was keeping floating while still battling all of the Straw Hats, you know, and this was pre-time skip, and I get it, yeah, but like, just looking at the Onigashima versus Merville feats, it's crazy the proficiency that this person
also
has.
Heavily intoxicated.
Yeah, but he's stronger like that, you know. But like the level of devil fruit proficiency that Shiki most likely has, because that is not canon. I cannot say that that's a legitimate point, but like speculatively, if Oda is going to introduce him into the canon, I think it will be like legitimately Yonko level of a threat. It has to be.
Oh my god. Hold on, I just realized if Zoro could only cut Kaido, but Luffy, who we've seen was a swordsman for a while there, actually beat Kaido, does that put Luffy above Zoro?
Yeah.
That's just food for thought, guys. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm gonna fix your muted status right now, Lucas. Like, cause I don't know why it didn't default fix it, but I'll fix it right now. But I think that like Shiki is, of all of the individuals that were just like, yo, let Oda cook, you know, let Oda cook and stuff like that about the end game. Like obviously Bogart, we're gonna see some huge payoff. Obviously with Helmeppo, we're gonna see some huge payoff. Obviously with Garling, we're gonna see some huge payoff. I don't think any of that legitimately comes close, except for maybe Helmeppo. You know, as far as what we're going to be getting from Shiki when he finally does fully get introduced into the canon. Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually, yeah, makes sense.
Except for Helmeppo, clearly. I'm just updating Lucas's browser source right now. Give me a second. There we go. Huge. So that's my pick. Honestly, I wanted to make sure we brought up some of the goats, so that's why I came in here with Helmeppo, Fujitora, and Shiki as my picks, because it's nothing but goats. Top of the verse, obviously. Which next up brings us back over to Kube.
Yeah, and before that, we've got someone who just hopped in the chat, Kusaland Furies, and congratulations with his latest Fury, where he reached 1K subscribers. Congratulations, bro.
Huge. Yeah, amazing video. Absolutely phenomenal video. I could see the amount of work and attention to detail that went into the scripting and the editing. And everybody, if you're not subscribed to Kusaland Theories already, I don't know what you're doing with your life. It like crazy. Absolutely crazy video. Blew me away. Everyone go check it out. And yeah, I'm pretty much fully subscribed to the theory as well. I loved all of the support that you had for the theory. But yeah, Kuso, if you have a top entrant in the verse for a swordsman, let us know in the chat.
Yeah, and so obviously, okay, it's my turn. Obviously, I like to take a bit of a twist. So listen, I'm gonna bring up the menace that was introduced in this arc. The one that put fear into everyone in Egghead. The threat himself. The one who dominated everyone to the point that Jinbei and Zoro had to team up together against him and couldn't defeat him. Ethan Baron v. Nozuro.
Oh man.
It
finally happened.
There's not, it's just one arc, but I'm sorry. For the things he's done, he was a menace. That's a menace.
I can't dispute it. Like, yeah. That boy Ethan really has some crazy feats. One of the coolest Gorosei forms I think that we got. I think that's pretty, like, some people are controversial on like a few of the forms. I think it's pretty unanimously decided that like the Mars, I love him. I know Tree doesn't, and like some people are really cool with like Jupiter's form and some people aren't. I think everybody unanimously loves Venus Jiro's form, which is crazy. And it's, didn't he like literally like slice like an island in half almost? Like, I don't know, like his feat was crazy, and it reminded me of Brook in that he was able to freeze people like the pull from the underworld. And he strictly has to scale above Brook in that sense, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy that you outed me for not liking Mars.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it every single time I can.
He looks silly. No,
he top. He goated. He's the best Gorosei. But I think Venus Jiro is a second place in my opinion. And like we have to like really consider that he is at Garling level, maybe a little lower because he's past his prime, or maybe a little bit higher if they are like truly immortal, like people think,
Dude, I have a question. What is a prime for people who have at least lived 200 years?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Like, what is their prime? That's my real question.
That's insane to think about. But yeah, he's a very clear front runner, and I think he has we've seen the Sandai and the Nidai, right? Like I think this guy is the Shodai Kitetsu speculatively. Or was it almost, it was pretty much confirmed, right? Whenever they clashed.
The problem is, that's what I always tell people, the problem is the bubble. We don't know who was the one who was saying, because we didn't see it, and the bubble seemed to be coming from both directions. So I've always said it's either one of the two or both of them at the same time.
Either way,
both of them. Yeah.
Either way, he recognized the Kitetsu if it was him saying it, or he has the superior version of Zoro's Kitetsu. Like one way or the other, either way you look at it, this guy has like an intricate and immaculate knowledge of grade swords or cursed blades, and is wielding most likely very, very potentially one of his own and I mean, we didn't see it as a black blade, so we can't scale him to the only legitimate and canon black blade that we've ever seen, which is Shusui from the sword god himself. So we can't really, we have nothing like just because he's not equivalent to the sword god doesn't mean he's not the modern day closest thing we get to it. And he might have been around in the same era as Prime Ryuma in the first place and lived to talk about it, which is crazy.
Yeah. No, the Coffee Black, my statement about Prime is, Prime is 67, 69. But my thing is that for
Nice.
people who have such a long lifespan, you know, what would... Oh, dude, I just got it. 69, yeah, 69 is a good one, actually. It's a good Prime, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Gotta give it that.
He said, yeah, I'm a
Gorse's
child.
prime was at age around like 924. We don't know exactly how old they are now, but I'm guessing older than that now.
Guys,
Yeah.
there's
And
a
we know
lot.
from,
There's a lot of prime numbers. Like, I don't know why we're arguing this. This is about swordsmen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't no way.
Yeah, I went there.
Also, I just want to call this in because I've been saying it ever since we got introduction of both. After we got introduction of both characters after Wano, and I've said this. Also called Nozuro Toki's father, saying it.
Whoa. You think he's an Amatsuki, even though he's got all those
Oh,
other
yeah,
last
definitely.
names?
Yeah, I do think that's why we never also saw his.
Amatsuki
entire clan.
Nozuro. Like,
Ethan,
Think of how you already defeated
Baron,
Orochi.
V,
Sorry,
Amatsuki
No, you're
Nozuro.
good, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
but yeah,
That's
but,
crazy.
but yeah, so obviously, yeah, rank very high. Obviously, very close to Almepo. We're still not sure if he reaches the level of Almepo, obviously, but you know.
I think
he's a
it's
good
fair.
candidate.
Yeah, I think it's fair, even if we don't know, and it's still speculation if it's a devil fruit or not, or if this is like a true devil. I think that just scales it higher. You know, either like this person is, I think, above, probably even Big Mom. I'm not even gonna lie, but like, I'm not. I don't know. Is that blasphemy, or am I legit like for saying that?
I mean-
above Big Mom.
Yeah.
I could see that, actually. Yeah, he's a Gorosei member. I mean, got to be able to reign supreme for 800 years for a reason.
Yeah, and we don't know what happened in God Valley, but ever since God Valley, the Rocks members have been acting, you know, they've been strategizing more than just going straight, you know. Like they got humbled, that definitely. And we saw
Let's-
Saturn there, so
Plus, he's the military god of finances. You know, so like that's kind of huge as well. He can just like evict you. Like I don't know, like I don't know, like what are you gonna do if you beat him? Like, you know, like the economy falls into shambles type shit. Like I don't know, like that has to come into play somewhere. But huge.
Yeah.
I love the, and it had to happen. Garling had to happen. And then both of the users of the dice fruit had to happen, and Venus had to happen, and Kube brought them all up. Those were all on his docket. That's crazy. Who would have saw it coming?
I was excited for this stream. I said I have a very fun group.
Okay. So we have Josh. Josh, do you have another entrant as far as top swordsman in the verse that you would like to bring to the conversation?
Yeah, let's bring the Para King himself, Roger. Like,
See, he's not currently alive, so we can't really totally like
shit.
I mean, aside
He's in
from
well shit.
like, you know, that's why
Rayleigh is, though. Bring up Dark King Rayleigh.
No, I'm gonna leave that for Vex. Let's bring Shanks.
okay. There we go.
Thanks.
The
The number
actually
one
was
swordsman the strongest swordsman in the story, obviously.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah,
he's the
obviously.
contender.
Undefeated, from what I understand, except for the Sea King that bit his arm off somehow.
Listen, I'm probably the biggest Shanks stick writer out of all of us. I'm gonna tell you, I think Shanks is low tier swordsman. I think he's carried by hockey, and he's not actually that good at swording.
Shit,
it still counts him in the running, you know, as a combatant that uses swords. Like,
And plus, we have to distinctly separate it into two-handed Shanks and one-handed Shanks. Because two-handed Shanks menace with a sword, undefeated,
guys,
undefeated with a sword.
I thought we were feet scaling. Now we're hand scaling. Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
One-handed Shanks, though, made
Shanks
a
is
griffin
sword.
out of hockey and sent
It's a
Eustace
one-handed
Kid to the
sword.
sea.
Oh my goodness.
I'd argue that unless Shanks lost his dominant hand, it doesn't matter.
I mean, we have to
Maybe
take
he
into
did, maybe he's
consideration.
left-handed.
We have to
It's a
take into
one-handed
consideration that he single-handedly, with his sword, not with his hockey,
Okay.
was able to block effortlessly a Kainu in Marineford, which is a insane feat. then that was with his sword.
Facts.
So I think that like this is like he is at least on the level of like fending off admirals casually. I think this puts him at the bare minimum adjacent to Fujitora. I think that's fair.
Dude,
Or am I crazy?
No. You sound just. I don't know if it's everyone, but the Discord mic went crazy for me. And let's just say that the Fujitora, the Torah, sounded more like an insult to a group of women, the way I heard it.
Knack. Hold on.
Yeah.
Knack, to address what you said, I did not let Kuina slide. I mentioned that if she were. So like the thing is, you have to understand that if the afterlife is a thing that actually exists in One Piece, then yeah, Roger could be piecing people up in the afterlife. But what are the chances that Kuina is actually, taking out Roger in the afterlife with how much, time that she's had to train? And like Roger was already nearing past prime and was sick when he passed on. So I mean, I'm just saying, I didn't just like let Kuina I didn't let Kuina slide and like let her be an entrant without prefacing it with the discussion about the afterlife first. So
our boy Dill actually brought up a really good point. Like I said, I wasn't sure if Shanks lost his dominant arm, but Dill says he did. He wears his sword on the same hip as his arm. Swordsman cross draw for ease of drawing. Huge. Okay. I concede my point. There's definitely a power gap between two-hand Shanks and one-hand Shanks.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Two-handed Shanks canonically undefeated. I think some nobody almost beat him one time.
I think that's fan fiction. Like I heard that somewhere and I was just like, where's your source? Like it doesn't exist. You can't provide it. It's fine.
Also, shout out NoChillDill, the vice captain of the Eternal Dawn. Our boy is in chat.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, actually. Dill, what's up, bro?
But yeah, I think that I would put Shanks at or around Fujitora level easily. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if I would put him too much higher than that. Certainly not Bogard level. But
I don't know. I think Shanks is Bogard level.
I mean,
like, if I'm being honest.
I meant Helm Eppo. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. But yeah, I think that other than Helm Eppo, as far as just swords, people who use swords, he is a hockey man. I could put him near Bogard level or at Bogard level. I just don't see him beating end of story Helm Eppo. There's no way.
Yeah.
But
wait, Dill, didn't we shout you out? He said he's been in chat for an hour and a half. Oh my god, guys, Vice Captain of the Eternal Dawn, NoChillDill in the chat. Oh.
But
I feel terrible. I thought I thought Kube shouted him out when he first popped up in chat. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it might be on me. I was so excited on my picks that I was.
Oh yeah.
Well, Tree did hop in pretty late. Yeah, Tree did hop in pretty late as well, so it's fine. But I mean, bringing up Shanks is an excellent point. It had to be said. Some people argue that he might be the world's greatest swordsman, but like I'm not necessarily here solely to title scale, but I don't know who else it could be right now, as he's in his prime, and I don't really see too many other people that we have in public, beefing with him. Like if him and Bogard were to clash, that's insane. That would certainly split the skies all around the planet. But obviously, Figureland being like probably his dad, that's going to be set up to be an encounter that happens later, if at all. He's not just going and clashing with the Gorosei. We've seen him being casual and cordial with the Gorosei, which is a feat in and of itself, but interesting conversation. And I can't wait, again, like so many of these entrants, to see what more we get from them in the story as we approach the final war. It's a wonderful pick, Josh, yet again. And then I think that brings us back around to Lucas. You said you had another entrant prepped for us.
I did. My pick was Nesjuro, but I didn't get to spit that take. Yeah. Well, let me think for a second.
We were just talking about the Dark King himself. If you wanted to spit that, trust me, I have other plans for my pick.
No, I'm thinking deep now.
You want us to go back to
you? Maybe.
Easy. I got one. So, listen, y'all. Y'all remember the crossover with One Piece, Dragon Ball, and I cannot think of it right now.
Toriko?
Yes, Toriko. Listen, I'd argue that I can talk about Gohan with the Z sword, or like Yajirobe. I feel like
yeah, you could.
They don't have hockey, so like they're definitely bottom of the list. But hey, man, they're pretty strong, right? They're pretty cool.
Future Trunks.
You could, yeah, you could argue for them, but the answer is you should.
He's like et tu, Brute.
Bro. This is a regular rule of thumb. If it's any Dragon Ball character that wields a sword comes to One Piece verse, number one immediately, because the power scaling over there is a whole different level.
Yeah. Okay, it's better to concede and say they're number one than to have to deal with the argument.
No, I'll say Yajirobe then, and we'll just ignore the other choices. But he doesn't have hockey. He doesn't have future sight. He can fly. That's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
That is true.
I'm here for Yajirobe. I love me some Yajirobe. I think that again, a figure that, and rest in peace, Toriyama was somebody who Oda looked up to as a mentor figure and held in the highest of regards, sensei to him. And I think that much like Oda, Toriyama was holding Yajirobe back to find out truly who is the strongest across all of the universes, which is an arc that we are still yet to find the conclusion for in Dragon Ball Super's current era. I won't go into too many spoilers, but I think that Yajirobe,
I have a placement,
absolutely is in contest for that.
I think Yajirobe might be number 2, right under Helmeppo. And hear me out, right? So I initially said that the monkeys, the humandrills, are number 2 because inherently their power. But Yajirobe in Dragon Ball cut a monkey's tail, so like I think I just got to give the edge to him,
It's true.
I'll go better than that. The Yajirobe you're talking in question is 100 times stronger than Jackie Chun. Jackie Chun destroyed the moon.
Wow. And the moon is something that even somebody on NL's level, and even like whoever was gunning for the ancient kingdom, wasn't able to destroy in the world of One Piece. As we know, It's a purely one-to-one analogous in the world of One Piece and the world of Dragon Ball. So
yeah,
there's no possible hole in that, like there was in the moon from Jackie Chun.
Big facts. I have a pick, by the way, so I'm ready to go.
Go for it, brother.
Yeah, see, we've been memeing, we've been having fun, and we said we talked about him, but we really didn't. We got to bring up Roanoa Zoro, guys. The MVP, the man who will take the title, greatest swordsman.
Didn't we?
No, we've talked to him adjacently. We talked about who trained him during the time skip, but nobody has said Roanoa Zoro.
I want to see how long someone has the balls to just go I was really wondering if someone was going to bring up Zoro, but he was the obvious one, obviously.
I mean, we've already placed him
obvious,
though.
But it's obvious for a reason. Have we though? Because I think he's above Helmeppo. If Helmeppo is Zoro's last hurdle, end of series Zoro will be over. End of series Helmeppo.
Yeah, but that's
hold on.
You're going off of Helmeppo's potential though.
No, but I get it. I'm not saying that as my argument. I'm just saying, like, Lucas, like, let's be real. We want people to take us seriously. This is our first stream on the channel, and you're coming out with this. Like, I respect you, but like, come on, man. Zoro versus Helmeppo.
Homie deadass said, y'all have been memeing, and then proceeds to do the biggest meme answer of them all.
Like, the biggest meme answer.
Wild.
Listen,
I honestly,
is crazy, dude.
He is one of the wings of the Pirate King. I'm just saying, my man.
And we've already determined that he's under the other wing. you know?
Yeah, I think Sanji with his knife work has to be just a cut above. You see what I did there? Like,
No.
I love it here, you guys. This is the funnest. This is such a fun stream. I absolutely love it here. But like, let's not try to have too much fun and get too carried away with it. Like, we have to like legitimately like we got to keep it real for the audience. They didn't come here to hear us like try to power skill Zoro as top of the verse. Like, clearly it's Helmeppo.
I didn't say top of the verse. I said best swordsman.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so like I mean, we if you had any other points you wanted to bring up, but like other than him, like, you know, battling with the Humandrels, he needed help, didn't he, from Killer, in order to take on the Onimaru, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
He also needed help with Law to stop the two attack of Kaido Big Mom.
That's true. Like he is
also
he really
needed
a solo
help from
fighter?
Jinbei on Egghead.
Yeah, like we haven't really. I don't
Great
know.
support.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, you guys.
Oh, look at that. We lost all of the people watching us. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, look at that. We memed so hard about Zoro.
So okay,
we lost everyone.
So we're moving past the memes, you know, obviously. Like I said, we want to be taken seriously here as individuals starting a new platform and rebranding this new channel. We love and really appreciate all of your support. Make sure you guys like the stream, and we're gonna get back onto a serious note here. We have to legitimately like, we've brought up several people, a boy who is made of swords, and we have brought up a man who is made of swords. But if we can't talk about the sword god Ryuma, but we can talk about a god who became a sword. And I am talking about the Nose Storm himself. We saw in Eni's lobby being wielded by Zoro, you know, ineffectively, if I might say. But we have to bring in there's for some reason people think that Soge King and God Usopp are like on the same power level. I'm here for it. I love that agenda. So Soge King being wielded as the Nose Storm in Eni's lobby, a literal, like, man, he's in our hearts, you know, like, and you can't really, like, I think this might be the only entrant that could potentially go above Helmeppo. But the thing is he would need to be wielded by Helmeppo, and not a lesser swordsman such as Zoro, in order for him to actually achieve those heights. It was a user error, but I think this is the peak. This is the true peak. Am I wrong?
I mean, listen.
This is the sword god. This is the sword god. We can't really count Ryuma, who was the previous sword god, but we have a modern day sword god. It's been right there in the story.
It's a god that became a sword.
Yeah, like, we love to see it, right? Like,
if you're bringing up, you have to bring up like Funk Freak into the conversation, though, and we don't, right? We don't bring him in.
I swear to God, you just made up a character. What did you say his name was? I gotta look this guy up.
Funkfried, who is an elephant. He's a sword that ate the elephant fruit.
What? I don't remember this guy.
That's Spondle, who is a good swordsman. That is him. That is his sword.
How do you not remember this?
So we can't count the god that became a sword because we
You
don't
see what they
count
have
from...
to do? You see what they have to do to shackle me? Like, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait. Okay. I don't remember him. I don't remember his weapon being an elephant, but I remember him. That's a better way to put it.
No, but like, legitimately,
we really need to do that reread, brother.
I know.
No, but like other than just counting him out, but like legitimately though, like, Kube brought up two dudes who are swords. They're made of swords. This is the same argument, right? Like, we can totally have this conversation. It makes sense. Like, right? Or am I crazy? Am I crazy?
Yes.
I think that It is such an honest take, and it honestly, it's a little bit upsetting to me that you guys will count it out. Like, if it were like a meme answer, I could understand, but just counting him out because he became a sword, and so like instead of wielding a sword, like the same thing happened with S Hawk, whoever that guy is based off of, and then with but Das Bones, he just became a sword, and I think that like. I don't know. That's like saying that Excalibur in Soul Eater isn't top of the verse. Fools. You know, like it's clear. It's obvious.
Guys, what if his name... Sorry, this is very out of pocket and kind of out of left field. What if his name isn't Shanks and it's actually S. Hank?
Is that who S. Hawk is based off of? Like,
I was going to say...
No. So S. Hank would be based off of Hank. Was the original.
What's that? Wait, hold on. What's that, Kube?
No. I'm gonna say that when we're on VC with not on stream.
Join the Discord, link in the description if you want to be a part of the post stream discussion where Cube lets it all out. But all right, well, fine. I guess my last take isn't valid. Then we can just talk about Rayleigh, right?
Hey man,
wait for your turn.
Like, I mean, dude literally like stared down Blackbeard, and Blackbeard was like, "Oh shit, I don't want any of that." Like, I mean, come on, like he's got to be.
I feel like Blackbeard doesn't want anything from anybody.
Yeah, he does take double damage, guys. Remember
he
this.
stood. Hold on.
He
He absolutely stood on business against Kuzan, who was a literal admiral who beefed with the fleet admiral. Come on now, like he did not run away. He straight up was like, "I'll fight you right now."
Yeah, he doesn't take double damage. He feels double the pain.
Yeah, you can take it.
It's like a mental thing, mind over matter type of situation. It's like mentally he feels the pain double, but his body sustains the same amount of damage than it would from like a non-Yami user. I see what you mean. But yeah, like I don't know. I think that it's crazy to not consider Rayleigh. And honestly, Rayleigh was on par with Roger, arguably, and had over 20 plus years. We know that Roger and his crew stopped sailing about 25 years ago ish, current time, maybe 26, because Oda has said that the timeline has evolved a little bit. So like, but regardless, Brook knew the Roger pirates 50 years ago as upstarts, meaning that Rayleigh had at least 24 years to train alongside the king of the pirates himself, and who would become like the top of the verse. Like, that's how high your ceiling goes. Like the person who dominated the previous era, this was his right hand, and he has had more time since then to continue to hone his skills, has fended off admiral like level individuals like Kizaru at Saba Odi. He fended off a Yonko with literally just a stare. Like, was that a hockey feat? Maybe. And he is somebody who's taught
past
Luffy.
His prime, right?
I mean, so is Garp, and we saw him drop a freaking nuke on Hachinosu. So he's still in the contest, I would say.
I would also say that his ability to swim that far also shows that even though he's past his prime, he's like Garp's very special type of.
Yeah, name another person who swam through a calm belt.
Yeah. Name another person who swam from Sabayoti to Amazon Lily in general.
No, it's not from Amazon Lily. His ship broke down, but he did swim most of the calm belt. But he did live with a small ship. It sank. But still, this is crazy.
Sorry, I'm not trying to discredit all of the feats he has by saying he old. I'm trying to say that he old should also be a part of the discussion. I think
that.
He's definitely in the top third, though.
Yeah, I definitely I put him honestly, I put him above Bogard. Like, even though he's old, like I still like, it's like, say, like, I don't know. Like, I think that it's hard around Bogard level.
He's got everything that Bogard has going for him and then more. I get it.
Yeah, it's hard to say though, because I did make the argument that Bogard might be over current Garp because Garp is past his prime, so I would have to say the same thing about Rayleigh. But it's neck and neck. They're like adjacent, absolutely, in my opinion, same tier, right?
It's sword and sword.
All
Ooh, facts, Knack. Knack said he said himself he couldn't take Blackbeard. It was a bluff.
True.
Sorry, my Discord for some reason kicked me, but I'm back in. I don't think stream missed anything. But yeah.
Stream is gone. I'm
no
joking,
way.
I'm joking.
I was about to say, I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, I'm literally looking at it right now. Like, don't do that to me. But yeah, I think that Rayleigh, it's like I wouldn't be doing my like I would be doing myself a disservice to not bring up Rayleigh, and somebody brought up Law instead of me. So thank you for that. So I didn't have to like spend one of my slots on that. But it's crazy to me that you guys aren't taking Sogeking seriously, but like I'd gladly put Rayleigh in that slot instead. I'll never forget.
I can't take Sogeking seriously because I just don't know who he is. It's hard to.
Brother,
I can't trust him. You know,
he's a man of
How
legend.
You've never been to Sniper Island, bro?
Dude,
it's
the winds
in your heart.
The winds carry his name. That's crazy. That like I'm just whatever. So next up, if Kube, do you have any did you have any other people you wanted to bring up? Go for it, brother.
Yeah. I mean,
remember, we're trying to keep it on a serious note, you know. We don't want to like
Actually, the two next ones, well, I have two of them, but I'll pick one of the two. They're my two serious ones. And this is a man, so I'm going to take my notes to describe what he did. Born as dangerous as characters like Kuma, Linden, and Kaido. At the age 9, killed swordsmen that waged war against the entire Yakuza and defeated them in the capital city until the age of 10. I'm talking about the GOAT himself, the mentor of the 9 Scarabs, the father of Hiyori, and Momonosuke, the current shogun of Wano, the husband of Toki, who went from the past to the future to save the world. I'm talking about him, the GOAT himself, Oden Kozuki.
Do you think he's still alive? Or are we doing more afterlife scaling?
Afterlife scaling. Since you were talking about afterlife stuff, as you know what, I'll put up Oden.
Okay. So you think he's just beefing with Kuina in the afterlife? You think? I mean, he did.
Oh, definitely.
We need to listen. We need to stop giving Kuina a pass just because she's a child. We all know that Roger and Oden would stomp Kuina.
Whoa!
No
hold
shot.
On. What are you talking about? Any amount
of training she's done in the afterlife would make her compatible to fight either Roger or Oden.
Lucas, come on now. Remember, we said we were done memeing. Like, I don't understand where you're.
My God.
We've seen Oden lose, and we've seen Roger. Like, Roger got taken out by illness. He's not even in peak form in the afterlife.
Kuina doesn't even have her sword in the afterlife because Zoro kept it. So, like, they're not going to be fighting anyway.
I mean, no sword style is a style. I'm just saying. We've seen
style.
We've seen Mutoryu. It's a thing. It exists. Look it up. That's a real thing. But like, I don't know, man. Like, Kuina could I think that she could no diff any.
I'm gonna have an aneurysm.
Like
I'm gonna have a fucking aneurysm, boys.
Kuina could no diff any nothing swordsman and take theirs, and she could just like trade for pinks her way up to getting to the point. Like we've seen, like I don't know.
Follow me. Both Zoro and Oden have left scars on Kaido, but Kuina has beaten Zoro, meaning if Zoro and Oden scale together, then Kuina is above Oden. It just makes sense.
Okay, also I'm gonna say something. Have you guys ever seen Oden's castle? The entrance has like 200 stairs. He's never.
Oh my God! Yeah, but the thing is, no. Hold on. He did that to ward away Kuina because he knew. That's why.
Oh, true. It's canon that Kuina and like the sword shit is all from Wano.
That's true.
Like
he
origins.
knew there was a prophecy. I'm sure it's actually what's written on the poneglyphs. I'm
so he trained
right
against stairs.
Yes. So that's gotta be. And like the thing is you also have to think Oden in the afterlife doesn't have his weapons because Zoro currently has Enma and Amino Kabakiri is like being wielded by Momo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how is Odin in the afterlife gonna scale against a Kuina when he doesn't have his swords
He's got
either?
fist, and she is a 3'6" child.
Oh my god, Lucas! It's hard for me to take you seriously when we do streams like this and you pop off like that. I respect you, but
Vex, this is what I'm gonna tell you. Okay. Even if he doesn't, even if he can find toothpicks, Odin just pulls up his hair, use armament on it, will still beat Kuina. That's how I see it.
Oh my goodness, this is probably the funnest stream we've ever done. Yeah.
Odin loses to hot water.
Right now,
Okay.
vexyz in Whiskey Peak is facing 100 pirates.
It's not Odin if it isn't boiled, man. But I don't know. Like you gotta really take into consideration. Like, yeah, Odin has like crazy hockey, but it's like innate. He never really was trained to hone and harness that hockey properly. He was just getting swatted away by like Whitebeard and Roger type figures and like people who are actually Yonko level. And so I don't know if I could, even if we're afterlife scaling, I don't know if I can put Odin at the top of the verse. He's a very, very, very capable fighter. And like the Totsuko waterfall and stuff like that is dope and it's cool, but like it doesn't scale to Whitebeard or Roger. And though in the afterlife they would have frailer forms as they were taken out by illnesses, I still think that with individuals like Ryuma himself in the afterlife, as well as Kuina, I don't know if he really hits top of the verse in the afterlife, in the underworld.
I mean, I'll give another point because I know who brought up Odin. Let's not forget that we talk how Zoro has crazy feats, but Enma is draining him, and until recently we haven't seen Odin being sucked dry. Pause by Enma.
Hey yo.
Yeah, I had to add the pause. I realized when I said it, I had to say pause. Vex is here.
But that's the thing is because Enma was friendly to Odin. If it wanted to, bless you, if it wanted to like drain his hockey.
Bullshit, so I was sneezed.
If no, but Enma is only draining his like Zoro's hockey is because of whimsy. It doesn't like see Zoro, it doesn't take Zoro seriously. It took Odin seriously, which means that he absolutely has to scale above Zoro. But I don't know if he's quite at Kuina level, like somewhere in between.
This is why Dill is my vice captain, y'all. She never reached the top of the stairs, so she's not the peak.
No, I wouldn't say that she's above down these stairs. Obviously not. No, that's a whole nother tier. But so I still think that she's Go ahead.
We also have an announcement from the group, since our first great stream with the new name and everything. We're recasting the character called Vex after the stream, so you can live in the Discord.
Oh my god!
if you want to portray that character with us.
What is this blasphemy? I've been the realest one here. Try to hold it down because I just want the chat to understand the quality content that we aim to provide to them moving forward after the rebrand on this new channel, and the absolutely based and completely supported and non-headcanon and unbiased opinions of the crew.
Oh my god!
But here I am being
Helmeppo is top.
Yeah, here I am being vilified for a few takes, like
being
crazy.
Fucking losing it,
man. Well, okay.
Yeah. So we have got a shout out from Dastard saying Vex is my favorite character, very zany.
Thanks, brother. Much love to Dastard in the chat. Love you too, buddy. Wonderful.
Guys, I've been like keeping notes and timestamping funny moments from the stream. In the last 10 minutes, I have not stopped typing. So,
so this is we got to keep it going. We got to give some more interesting takes. Josh, did you have any other names you wanted to bring up in the discussion?
Yeah, I've been waiting. Yeah, I came up with this one. Like, it's
Let's
crazy
go.
how no one realized this guy. Like, he doesn't use one sword. He doesn't use 3. He uses 10 swords at the same time.
Whoa.
And also, he's the future pirate king. Like, how could you not bring up Buggy?
Huge. Oh man,
that's crazy because that was my next pick too.
He literally gave Zoro a scar on his back, didn't he?
Yeah, also, he's completely immune to everyone on this list because no one can cut him.
So
in
true.
Impel Down, he uses 4 sword style. I just sent a picture in the VC. I will also post it in general chat in the Discord.
Huge. Yeah, that's what a based pick. He's a Yonko. Like
a Yonko.
We have to scale him at bare minimum, like at or around Shiki level. And like I think the argument is because he, like you said, only like a significant hockey user or someone with like a really hacked devil fruit would really be like, no one's sword techniques are gonna do anything to this man.
Yeah, and obviously I'm gonna take a note from Vex and his style of defending a character. I'll explain why Buggy is obviously one of the greatest swordsmen in the story. First of all, he's the only swordsman in Cross Guild. We know how Cross Guild has to be that important, and having Buggy as the only swordsman there is amazing. And remember that he also has a great assessment on powerful people. Remember what he said about Luffy Marineford? Luffy has a power style, people towards him.
He's not the only swordsman in Cross Guild. We've literally talked about DOS Bones. Come on, man.
Yeah,
keep it together.
Yeah. He's the strongest, the main strongest swordsman in Cross Guild.
That I will accept.
Don't forget, Crocodile was in a deep trouble, so he had to reach out and call Buggy and say, "Hey, yo, Buggy, I know I owe you money, but we need to team up. We need to team up, man. I need that borrow power,
Can I borrow some of your money, some of your power?
Exactly. Exactly.
Guys, I love you. I love you all so much. I think this is probably the one person on this list that I think it's no contest could actually take down Helmeppo. This is huge.
Agree.
Yeah, he's top one. Like he's not.
He's immune to other sword users.
Dastard, what are you reading? Like, what is this? Is you talking about Mohawk? Like, we're not hair scaling here.
No, it's
like,
Mohawk.
No,
that sounds like a dirty word.
Stop implementing your OC Dracula Mohawk. We're not talking about your OCs here. All right, we're doing actual strong swordsmen like Helmeppo. Okay,
Dastard. You should know. Tony Hawk is a skater. He's not in a One Piece verse. He's an actual athlete.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, guys, I'm gonna be.
I said it earlier with Lucas and the elephant guy.
On.
Have a good one, Josh.
Josh, you said you're dipping?
Yeah.
Hey, take it easy. Man. It was great spitting with you. Thank you for being here. You can catch him in he's doing some One Piece D&D in the Discord, link in the description if you want to pop in on that as soon as we're done wrapping up here. We're actually only going to have about like maybe 15 or 20 more minutes to cook with you guys because I do have to end stream shortly. But meet us in the Discord, be a part of the discussion. We're always cooking in there. Go ahead and continue, Tree. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say like Lucas making up characters and now Dastard's in the chat doing it. It's just crazy.
Like it's totally it's one thing
when did I make up a character?
I thought you made up the elephant dude.
Oh,
I forgot that he was a part of the I Want to Live arc.
No, but hold on. Like we really do have to make sure that the chat understands what like it's okay to bring up like Yajirobe. Because that's something that has had a crossover, and we understand that the One Piece verse, the Toriko verse, and the Dragon Ball verse are somehow tethered, but like you can't just be coming in here talking about fan fiction, you know what I mean? Like that's not necessarily something because if that's the case, then this is gonna be a way longer stream, and we're trying to keep it One Piece characters only, or people who have a legitimate crossover within the verse. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. You guys are lucky that Captain Shu of the Marines never used a sword, or else I'd be bringing him in. Who's that? That's Smokey?
Yeah, let's get it. I'm fucking here.
What's good, Smokey? Let me set up a PNG for you real quick.
In the meantime, Smokey, we've been talking about hella swordsmen over the last couple of hours. Are there any swordsmen that you think are like peak, worth mentioning, your fave, the strongest?
My favorite. I mean, I've been mentioning for the longest Zoro with Soge King Sword. He clears the verse for me.
They didn't. They didn't let me.
You're about to make Vex so happy.
They didn't let me spit the Soge King truth. Like we can't talk about Ryuma because he's the sword god, but there is somebody who's equivalent to a god in most people's headcanon power rankings who became a sword. Like, and they didn't they didn't let me speak the truth, brother. Hell yeah.
No, hell no. And honestly, I'm gonna add to that. There's only 2 black blades in One Piece, right? But there's only one blade that the wind carries its name, and that's that sword right there. So that clears the verse. That's number 1 for me. Fujitora is a straight menace. Big Mom. I mean, if we're talking about skills, Ryuma is like up there. You have to put some respect on his name. I wasn't here. Did you guys mention Vista? Because Vista was just pure, like straight up. Vista was nasty with it, son. He's sick. Yeah, those are my picks right there, though.
Solid
those are my picks. Brooke.
Oh yeah,
Brooke
we brought up Brooke.
Yeah, he has to be mentioned. Who else is a good one though? Lucas said one earlier, and like right before I left the chat, he said one. I forgot who it was, but it was pretty peak. Who did he say? Who did he say, bro? Who are your guys' picks?
There have been so many. Buggy was brought up. The Humandrels.
10 sword style, sorry.
Yeah. Bogard, Helmeppo, Buggy, Fujitora, Rayleigh, Shanks, Figureland, Venus Juro, Dawes Bones, S-Hawk. We've talked about the Humandrils, and obviously Zoro, Kuina, Odin, Shogun Frankie. We talked about a lot of people, a lot of goats. And I think Buggy's actually probably top of the verse here because Helmeppo can't really hold a sword to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah. I would love to see Kuina like do her thing and get supernatural.
Preach.
You know, like she deserves it. She's a true if we're talking honor and like true swordsmanship, she is up there with maybe that's Oda saying something like, I don't know. Like,
listen,
she might be a good.
If we're talking honor and like true swordsmanship, how has no one brought up Kyros?
Oh, Kyros is fire, dude.
Okay, well the thing is he's only got 1 foot. No, and we've been enough kidding.
Oh my goodness.
He does have a much better battle record than even Kuina, who we've scaled very high in this stream, rightfully so, as he went 2,000 matches undefeated. And then he was literally defeated, like a foot was taken off of him. So I mean, we were mentioning 2-armed Shanks versus 1-armed Shanks and how there was a definite discrepancy in power levels. So I think that current story Kyros has unfortunately fallen below his prime, but it is man, if only Oda couldn't really write him without handicapping him first, because I think he would have been too strong. That's just me though.
I agree.
And
let me ask you guys
because Smokey is here. Smokey is here, so I have to call this one out because Smokey did not even name him. And it's a crime, especially after his Skypiea review. The GOAT himself, the man that defeated Sea King underwater and said it wasn't his full potential. The man that defeated the God Serpent in Jaya, in old Chandora. The man that made the story that the world government had to create propaganda against him. The man, the myth, Mont Blanc Noland.
Nolan is huge.
Yeah, he was beefing with Sea King's solo, single-handedly, just casually. Yeah.
Slapping them.
And underwater. He was underwater. He was underwater. Like, that's a crazy feat to beat the Sea King in his own territory.
Oh, yeah. He gave up the home field advantage.
Somebody asked me, what would you put Nolan in, like the characters that we know now, like where the story's at now, where would you guys put him in like terms of like
Yonko level?
His ability is Yeah, that's what I said too.
I mean, wasn't he an admiral too? For his kingdom?
No, he was
Sure.
that wasn't his rank. He was an expedition leader, which it's not a military position. He was a botanist, not a warrior. But he was able to box with the best of them. But the thing is that like, and again, to shout him out one more time, friend of the brand and the channel and the community, absolute goat within the community, Dak Sake, has put out a wonderful video on just how Yonko level Noland is. If you haven't already checked it out, I fully subscribe.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd also like, while we were just out here spitballing for these last like 20 minutes of stream, how have none of us brought up Kiku Noju of the Lingering Snow?
That's big.
My girl, the baddie Okiku. Let's go.
Kiku.
Survivor of Onigashima. Helped with the raid. And a time traveler.
Okay. I don't think that I mean, mad respect for Kiku, mad love, but I don't know if I can put any of the scabbards quite to the level of like the most prolific straw hat that we have, you know, added to the list outside of Luffy Taro himself. I think that Sanji, with what we saw from him against Wanzi, is still above all of the scabbards. Yeah, so I respect your entrant, but I think they're like on a lower tier, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say something about Kiku is becoming the next Shanks. It's already starting.
Oh, Dill brought up a wonderful point. Rayleigh is just casually swimming through calm belts fighting Sea King, so Nolan's got to be on Rayleigh level.
Yeah,
just huge, like right hand of the Pirate King type shit.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Like, people always discredit the Sea Kings. It's like, no, dude. Like, they're not to be played with, you know. And Banana Wami too. They hunt Sea Kings. So
oh, like, my goodness.
They are not to be played with either. So yeah, Nolan and Kagura are like Yonko level.
Yeah,
Kagura's nasty too, but he was the swordsman.
I could see that. Does anyone else have any spitballs they want to, you know, pop off? Like we've talked about so many great swordsmen.
An extra point for Nolan, actually, even though the sky splitting is a post-time skip feat, we haven't seen pre-time skip. We could say that the Kalgar versus Nolan fight could have been the sky splitting, just we never saw it on how the whole island shaked. It's like Golden and Whitebeard.
Yeah, they're in the sky, so they're splitting like a sky above the sky, like type shit. You know, that's like a whole nother level.
Oh my god. Guys, I just got it. I understand what Dasher was talking about. Mihawk. Guys, we forgot about Mihawk, the joke character that couldn't even cut Buggy. He's so forgettable. Oh my god.
Think that has to, it's non-canon, right? That's non-canon, right?
Hey,
like, there's no way.
Forget Mihawk. I'll put some respect on T-Bone. T-Bone was a swordsman too.
T-Bone!
T-Bone was a swordsman too, bro.
Rip to my guy. Unfortunately, he got done so dirty. It was more of an environmental, like it was PvE more than PvP when he got pieced up on the sea train. If Aqua Laguna wasn't a factor, I think he easily would have cleared Zoro, right?
Well, yes, because maybe just plot line. You know, he was a victim of plot armor. But also, before I forget, go ahead, QB.
I was gonna say he was handicapped twice. First of all, Oda didn't already give him an actual skin. Second, he realized how OP he was, so he had to kill him off screen.
Listen, before I forget, another rip is Pedro. R.I.P. to that dude. He was a swordsman, right? He had a Napier as a blade, if I'm not mistaken.
He was using a machete, I think.
That's a sword.
Technically, it is a sword, yeah. But that was like the specific type, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's machete kills. You know, if we learned anything from Danny Trejo. Yeah,
and who was that? There was a swordsman at Fishman Island, that big long peak dude. He was pretty nasty with it. Oh yeah, and the dude with the wavy sword. I just did the Skypea arc review. Ohm. He had that wavy sword. He like took out Chopper.
The ice and whip.
His,
yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if I put
first one to do the birdcage.
I don't know if I put him above Steven Tyler. I mean Diamante though, because he also had a sword whip.
Wow. Oh my god. You know I'm gonna do. hella Steven Tyler references when I do that arc review.
Oh my goodness, the Oda level foreshadowing that we're getting here. But no, I think that like it's interesting to think about more Devil Fruit users that implement their Devil Fruit into sword techniques, like specifically Diamante. So I mean, it's I don't put him very high up, but like there's because that's still swordsmanship to a degree, like we were talking about Law earlier, and how him implementing with his awakening his sword techniques into his Devil Fruit usage it still counts, you know. So it's a huge thing to think about.
There's so many RIP characters I could talk about.
Dill's about to pop off. He said all seriousness here.
Yeah, like someone in the chat brought up Bobbins, the guy who wears the face in Whole Cake Island.
Yeah.
Oh
Tell me that's not a face, dude.
Yeah, that's a face.
But like
I love how Lucas said that like he was traumatized by that character.
Okay, Bobbins creeped me out.
Okay, but I only have a couple more precious minutes before we gotta end stream. So like we'll talk about like the true GOAT, right? The answer is Luffy Taro, right? Because of plot alone, like Luffy wielded a sword. You know, I think that Kaido wouldn't have stood a chance. You know, it like I think Oda was like, he's not just gonna get defeated with like a simple big punch, because I think he planned on bringing Luffy Taro back, but he was just like, wait, no, that's final war level shit, you know. So like because of
nerf him,
just because of the plot. When you think about the plot, Luffy has like, he's the protagonist. He's got to like it's really been in front of our faces the whole time. You know what I mean? But like yeah. Like, I think that he also, I don't know, is it above Buggy, or is it like right adjacent to Buggy? I think that's the two best answers we've gotten.
Tops Buggy. Nothing tops Buggy, honestly.
He still can't cut Buggy.
You can't cut him.
Okay, but if he were to use his like Gear 5 like Rubber World abilities to turn Buggy into rubber, and then Buggy adapts the weakness of Luffy himself. Swords, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but Luffy inherently has that. I don't know. I feel like it's just a rock paper scissors matchup that Buggy just doesn't lose.
I feel like it will come down to just like will, and Buggy's doesn't outclass Luffy's, but it's powerful, and he has like he might have to enforce himself.
So Buggy is top of the verse. And then we have Luffy, Taro, and then Helmeppo. I'm cool with this. That's a great top three, right? We can go ahead and call it.
We could call the dude that stamps it. You know what I mean? Notify it, stamp it. Like, you know.
So let's go into outros, because I do have to close stream out here very shortly. Unfortunately, I would love to spit with you guys all day and vibe with the chat literally forever, but we'll have to catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Nothing Happened podcast, where you can catch Kube and Tainted Marth and Kuso Land and Star Knight Andy Lex cooking whenever they get back into the fold of things. And you can always find Kube here and in the Discord. Anything else you'd like to plug or say, Kube, real quick?
Honestly, all I want for people to do is, like we said, check out Kuso's latest video. Okay, subscribe to him. Well, Smokey, if I'm not mistaken, just dropped a video less than an hour ago. And also, for those who didn't see, go watch Smokey's Sky peer review, which is fire.
Links in the description for Grand Line Bound, his YouTube channel, as well as your TikTok. Anything you want to tell the folks, Smokey, before we wrap up?
Yes, go check out your gaming channel, yours and DQ's gaming channel. Since you guys are plugging my stuff, I'm going to plug your guys' stuff. Go check out the gaming channel. Go check out the Scarlet channel, like Scarlet Pirates. Go check out Lucas's TikTok. He's back on TikTok. Go check us out, man. We're still in the game. We're still in the game.
Hell yeah. Speaking of gaming, and killing the game, we've got Dawn Gaming returning. Name work in progress.
Name pending.
Yeah, name pending. But we will be returning to playing Trails to Sky this Monday. Is that correct?
Hopefully this Monday, assuming we can get assets figured out, a new layout, and a name picked out. But things are looking up, I think.
The ball is rolling up. So and you can also catch Tree on twitch.tv/TreeTheWolf, link in the description for that. Make sure you're supporting all the homies here.
Fun fact, I'm going to shout out Smokey a little bit more. Homie dropped the Skypea part 1 review, so definitely go check that out. I think I think all of us here actually had some lines in there that we were spitting. It's no,
I didn't get this one.
And
I'm saving my voice for Thriller Bark.
Part 2? Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the star of the Thriller Bark for sure.
Also, we have also a crazy announcement. We're announcing the Eternal Dawn OnlyFans with Straw Hat Lucas coming out soon.
Pause.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'll let Lucas spit all of his stuff in just a second. I've been Vex. It's always a blast hanging out with the crew. So happy to be here with all of you, chat. Thank you so much for coming to the new channel and supporting us. Make sure you like the stream. Leave a comment if you're catching this in the future, and links in the description for my channel and my Discord if you want to join in on all of that, where I do a bunch of wacky stuff myself. But I'm going to spit it over to the one, the only Straw Hat Lucas, who has just seen a huge a wonderful amount of attention on TikTok. If you want to go ahead and tell the folks what else you got going on, brother.
Yeah, I just came back to TikTok recently after taking about a 2-month break, and got a lot of love over there. One of my videos, like, it went semi-viral. That shit is still popping off. It's at like 120,000 right now.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, other than that, every week you can catch a new episode of Rambling Addiction over on my channel. I just dropped one on Ancient Magus Bride with my man right here himself, vexyz the Lurking Legend. Also, got to check out, when I'm mentioning Vex, the Scarlet Pirates. We have been killing it over on his channel every single Tuesday at 8 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. CST, and it is just such a good time. Last night's session was wild. We did this whole spoiler thing. I'm not going to say what it was because I know some people in the chat are not caught up, but it was just a crazy time. But more importantly than anything, I have 2 things to say. I have 2 last things to say. One is go check out Smokey's Skypea review. It is a celebration of the One Piece community. So many goated creators there that Smokey has brought together to give such a wild take on the Skypea arc. And lastly, I want everyone in the chat, thank you guys so much for coming through for us. This is our inaugural stream. We'll be back on Saturday with a chapter discussion on 11/23, so make sure you check out that. We've got a lot of streams and new content coming up here on the Eternal Dawn, so make sure you are subscribed and be on the lookout. And more importantly than that, though, have a wonderful, wonderful night.